Hello, and welcome to Jarviskjir, Rock of the North, Chapter 3, Session 3. We're in the threes. I cannot say that Rock of the North is my third show. I haven't been keeping count. It's probably closer to 13 than 3. So, it's been a little bit, and we're up into the winter season for some wintry role playing. Although this entire campaign has been wintry, really, because you've never left the north. This entire campaign has always been north-centric, from you stopping a potentially world-ending threat that sort of was focused on the north, to crime in the north, and now, well, who knows? I mean, you have a flying tower. You could go wherever you wish, or wherever the need for justice takes you. So, last session. That's not a good start when the last session starts with a prolonged from the DM. Last session, the last thing that happened was a big fight with a pair of lindworms. Snow-swimming lindworms that attacked you while you were looking for a frost goblin settlement. You're looking for one of the members of a hobgoblin war call, the pyromancer Wyrex, that has been someone that Snow has been wanting revenge for a long time, and is the last link to this basically CSI case, FBI more than anything, case that Adelhard has been. Adelhard is basically a Jarviskjir like FBI agent. You know, it really is. Just add boats. And you were attacked by lindworms while you were searching for this place, where you actually got to see some of the combat prowess of your new characters, pretty much up and close and personal. Before with the dragon, it was really, you know, Snow and Cinder shining. This time, you got to see Leland throw a flask that created an almost sentient ball of fire by actually starting the fight that way. And you got to see Jensa's rot, this powerful explosion of foul magic that's left her almost worn down and has actually stained the ice. You're on, like, snow-covered ice flats right now next to the channel. And the ice is, like, marred, where you can see, like, the footsteps in the snow. It's kind of darkened. It's almost become black ice. Maybe a little browner than black, though. Along with that, you discovered lindworms have a disease-ridden bite. And while you were able to cure one of the afflicted of ice rot, Snow is still diseased, and you do know this. I don't think Snow necessarily has clocked it, but it's like something that I think Adelhard figured out. And that's pretty much where we begin. Cinder wanted to scout while you guys were tending to your wounds and things. And Cinder, you have seen a settlement. You don't really know anything about goblins to know if it's a frost goblin settlement. But there is a kind of fort. I would say a hill fort. It's got the arrangement of a hill fort, but it's not necessarily built on any kind of incline. This is a fairly flat area. If anything, it's kind of in a divot. But you can see a wall essentially of ice, and then structures within. It's not huge. If it's not what you're looking for, it'd be a good place to ask for directions, I guess.
Okay.
So I imagine you can get back to the party while they're, you know, tending to the wounded, taking care of magic. With that.
So I found a place.
Nice.
She describes
What does
it.
it look like?
It looks like a fort. I don't know if it's like frosty goblin forty thing, but it's a fort, and maybe they know if they don't live there, maybe whoever does live there knows where we can look.
Well, it's a start at least.
Better than nothing.
Like, did you see any cooking fires, dude?
It's a fort, so there's walls. I mean, I can go scout further and, sneak
No, we should
around, but...
We should just go together. It's not like the rest of us are going to be able to sneak up that well anyways.
No, you're not. Adelhard, maybe. Jensa, maybe. You two, no.
Sneaking isn't my forte.
Well, you're wearing all white, and it's snow and ice out here, so...
True.
Like, I'm not too bad at it, and also, if you don't want to be seen, I can make you not seen for an hour.
I mean, I have spells to make people sneakier, but I don't think that's wise if we're trying to talk to people, because have you tried talking to someone when you're invisible? They kind of get freaked out and think you're a ghost.
I just mean,
Which can be really funny if it's what you're trying to do, but...
I get it. But don't play with ghosts. They're scary.
Nah.
So, to the fort we go, I'm assuming?
Yeah, let's go.
So you decided no stealth, you're just walking up.
Cinder will wild shape into, a weasel, like a snow weasel thing.
Like a stoat?
Like a stoat.
Or a sable? Something like that.
Yeah. And she's just gonna, I don't know, or a penguin just waddle up, and I don't know.
Well, they're quite different, right? Going, snow weasel. Yeah, you could be like a stoat or a sable. They're all kind of the same kind of shape. But a penguin has got quite a different body form, a different morality. It's a whole different thing.
Wait. Are we gonna get into the morality of penguins today?
They're
because
thieves.
in this essay. No. No, she'll be a stoat, and she'll just she'll try and get a little bit ahead of them so that she can find a nice place to
Yeah.
pocket weasel or something. I don't
Someone's
know.
gonna
Don't run up someone's leg when you're actually talking to people or something. Yeah.
They come out and try to hunt Cinder for her pelt now.
Yes, that's why I described him as a sable.
Yeah. But I mean, okay, hold on. I gotta go look at my notes.
She'll lead the way as a weasel.
The Frost Goblin here is Captain Castiel, is what I have. Is that right?
Yep.
But we don't necessarily know if they're mercenary. They aren't necessarily gonna attack on sight, So
yeah, you really don't know. Your notes are good. That's the level of intelligence I've given you at the very least.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll find out.
Sure. Trekking along with your druid in wild shape is always a safe idea if you are unsure of the alignment of who you're trying to meet. You can walk up to the fort, and when you guys are getting closer to, so that you can all see it much clearer, Cinder's eyes are probably the best in the party when it comes to, what can your elf eyes see? Not necessarily perception rolls, although Cinder is probably the best as well. Cinder can see things well from far away, but when you get closer, you can see the kind of detail within this settlement. It is a mostly walled off settlement with walls made of ice. I don't mean like a Game of Thrones ice, packed and compacted ice, which is actually a pretty good defense, I guess, unless you're fighting someone who knows Fireball. In every other instance, it's a pretty good defense. But there are parts outside the settlement. There are tanning stations, mostly, and areas where butchery is set up. It's rustic, but not kind of tribal, right? There is a slight primitiveness, but it's really, these are areas you would have seen in your Northern towns. The Planivar have a similar setup, although you guys never really saw that sort of thing. The actual fort itself, you can't see much of the structures kind of within it. The ice wall goes up probably 10 feet, almost exactly, with a walkable space. The biggest structure you can see inside is actually a fairly narrow windmill that's turning in the fairly slow, frigid wind. But you can hear civilization. You can hear the hammering of metal. You can see through a metal portcullis they have and see a very small, but a community within there. There's actually not anyone outside the town in these tanning stations or anything right now, but there is someone standing above the small gate to the town. There is a frost goblin wielding a pike. Frost goblins, I gave you a tiny description when we were just talking about what you know about them. They are a subset of hobgoblin, right? So they are human size and human-like. When you see in the town and later on, you won't see any lesser goblins, like forest goblins or cave goblins. Like you won't see any little guys. Only these kind of almost hobgoblins. The big difference being the kind of equipment they use is notably not the hobgoblins you know, not the ones you fought or actually negotiated with before. The equipment they're wearing is hide and bone. Very well put together, but also there's a level of rawness that, from what you know about goblins you've met, is usually deliberate. They kind of like the aesthetic and the slight intimidation factor of it. But a frost goblin's skin is kind of a yellowish blue. It's a natural blue. It's not like the Olvaxians of Velheim, where they have clearly got magic in their blood. It's almost like the blue of slightly unclean ice. And there's all kinds of patterns and mottling on it, and they share the same thing that all goblins have in Jarviskjir, which is an indentation down the center of their bodies. This hobgoblin is standing on top of the gate and has obviously noticed you approach. Whether they've seen the stoat is a different question, but, you know, the pair of giants and then the two svelte people beside them, yeah, you've been noticed. They've not, like, raised alarm or anything. He's not even in, like, a completely, like, militaristic stance, because honestly, he's on top of a wall with a pike. He can't, like, if he lunges at you, he's gonna take 1d6 fall damage. But he is, you know, aware of what's going on. But it doesn't seem like the settlement's at, like, alert or anything when you approach. You didn't discuss who's going to do the talking.
Well, seeing as no one else is...
I can't.
Hello! We're here to talk to a... Turn back just now. Who was it again?
Castiel.
Sorry?
Castiel.
We're here to talk to a Castiel.
They tip their head back. There's a slight... almost animalistic twitch of the long ears, and they kind of lean to the other side of the wall because they're like standing on top of it where there's like crenulations and stuff, and they yell back down in Goblin into the town, and then look back and go, "What about?"
I wave a hand over to Snow.
Yeah, Snow will step forward this point. He's like, we want to talk about business.
Business. Business. Be good. Like taps the pike on the ground.
Yeah. Okay. Snow's gonna pat his cloak to make sure that he has his money on him.
I've not stolen anything from you other than the time that you gave a lot of
Spent
money to
2,000
the
gold.
Moon Queen. I stole
Yeah.
that. Other than that,
Yeah, that's fair.
I haven't stolen anything.
Yeah, that reminds me. I gotta find someone else to commission a battering ram.
What you want to do is find a
Anyway.
lawyer. Have them
Yeah.
march up to the Moon Palace. Be like, hey.
But yeah, no, I'll. Okay, so yeah, I have money on me then. That's fine. Okay. So I'll wait. I think we just wait, and I still will look at the others and be like, he'll kind of in a low voice be like, I'm just gonna try to buy the info from them.
Why don't we just ask and see if they'll give it willingly?
We'll do that first, and then if not,
And then we can bribe them if
Yeah.
necessary.
After
No, that's
around 6 or 7 minutes, the portcullis opens. Interestingly, that this isn't like a detailed portcullis mechanism. They literally like prop it open, and this man steps out. The arms and armor are, the same deal. It's hide and leathers with sort of a little bit of bone and a little bit of metal decor, but it's clearly that of a hunter of some kind. They even have a bow on their back, and he has his weapons on him. He's walking out with his weapons on him. He's not stupid, but he's a probably mid-30s, maybe. Frost Goblin. Quite sharp-featured, strong jaw, silverish hair tied back in a ponytail, but it doesn't. There's either a good deal of male pallid mortist or most goblins, their hair kind of grows almost from further back. But if you're into goblins, fairly handsome one. If you're into goblins or not, that's a question for the wiki, which doesn't exist anymore. He walks up. The snow crunches under his boots that have a slight kind of sharp tacking to them, and he literally will rest his thumbs on his belt and kind of look over the lot of you, which for your party does involve kind of looking up, so it's not quite as dismissive as it kind of necessarily would be. And he looks over and kind of rubs a thumb against. He's got quite sharp, almost mini tusks that kind of go up from his bottom jaw, and kind of almost habitually runs a finger along one of them. You want to talk business, but you didn't send a raven. So I'm going to assume that you are not professionals. Or this your first time ordering hunters and killers from the goblin tribes. And this is in common, by the way.
okay. Does Snow recognize him from the skirmishes he had with back in the day? 'Cause Snow was never on really any big frontline battles, but
Give me a history roll.
Mhm.
And I won't give you advantage, it's just kind of... I want to see the dice. I want to
Yeah,
see
yeah.
I want to see the numbers. No.
Okay.
You don't even
Okay.
remember any frost goblins, but then
Okay.
what you've learnt about is, the immolation of Oathensfur. The battle you had was very big for your community,
Yeah.
but was relatively small compared to the 5 or 8 years of fighting in the rest of the subcontinent of Oathensfur.
Yeah, it's what happened to us was a spillover from that kind of, right?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
For then, it was Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
alright, so then,
How dare you predict a line I was going to use later on in this campaign?
Yeah. So but yeah, so Snow will just look at the guy and basically be like, we're here for information.
Curious, but I am not opposed to the trade of intelligence. What is it you're looking to buy, and what is it you're looking to sell?
We're looking for information about.
Other hand holds up a hand. We will discuss that with. What's his name? I forgot. AJ forgot. Castiel.
Yeah, this is Castiel.
This is Castiel you're speaking to.
This is. Oh, okay. I'm very sorry. I did not know.
Yeah, this guy, the guy on the wall wasn't. This guy. Well, this guy came out when you asked for Castiel. He hasn't actually introduced himself, I guess. So it's a fair thing to not think.
No. Perhaps we should do this not out in the open. And have proper introductions first. After all, we are professionals.
How are you? Alright. The big one will not necessarily fit in my war room, but I'm sure we'll make something work. He just turns and does a hand motion and allows you into the settlement. Inside,
as we're walking in, Leaf will just kind of timidly walk up next to the goblin and be real sorry about the raven thing, man. We didn't know, but here, have a healing potion. It should taste like chocolate milk. I hope you like it.
I do not know what chocolate milk. I've not heard of that breed of cow. He takes the bottle. And does, a healing potion is a good gift. It's pretty good. He's not going to complain.
Thunder uses that opportunity to slip inside behind everyone while he's distracted with the healing potion.
And lets you inside. The settlement is, again, it's kind of rustic, but sort of deliberate. There's some people tending to fabrics and such, and hides being treated, turned into things. There is some honing of the ice, but mostly it's just kind of everyday things. It looks like most of the people here are warriors or fighters, but there's also, I would say women and children, but most hobgoblin women are also going to fight you. But yeah, this is a living town. There's also some creatures you haven't seen before, which are Grons, who are essentially a half-breed between ogre or troll and goblin. They're big and bulky and quite unpleasant to look at, and they're kind of doing some of the heavy labor. One is twisting a millstone kind of thing. Castiel lets you into a chamber that is partly it's more. It wouldn't necessarily all be wood here, but it's more kind of like a model and door kind of plaster building with some of the walls being ice as well. So being in here is cold. The ice keeps the cold, and there's not much attempt from them to warm it up. They're wearing quite padded clothing, and takes you into an upstairs room. The downstairs looks like it probably kind of maybe a almost like a news station. This is probably where the ravens come. There actually are some pigeons and things. But the upstairs room is a little bit of a war room, up a ladder into a chamber which has it's all laid out on the floor. It has a map of the north. It's a goblin map, so it's actually got very different details to your map. Your maps don't have all the goblin settlements on them. This one does. That's the main focus. And routes that traveling bands are known to use. And around it are throws, so that you're not sitting on the cold floor. You're sitting on a cold throw instead. There's some armor stands, equipment stands, and things. He will go and kind of sit cross-legged. Despite what he said, Snow, you can fit in here. You fit into tighter spaces before. Can kind of go sideways through the door, and everyone can get inside. He will start pouring small kind of shot cups of a kind of some kind of rice wine or something of the sort. Doesn't seem like something they'd make here. But a lot of the goods, you know, it seems like there's a lot of trade among the goblins, which makes sense. And we'll basically pour one out for everyone around the table, not Cinder. Cinder is an animal right now. And just sort of clasp their hands together and to business then.
Yeah, I guess.
He noticeably hasn't actually he hasn't taken his drink yet. He's poured them all out, and he doesn't seem offended by you like raising it and maybe starting to drink it, but he hasn't raised a toast.
Oh, sorry. I thought we were toasting a business. My bad.
I'm sure I can get you toast if you are famished from your journey.
Always, man, always.
He seems surprised by the response. It's almost like an etiquette thing, and does kind of like seem to note something mentally.
I'll pull out some herb and start like winding it up at the table while we're sitting there.
Sorry, my dog is freaking out.
Hi, Mama.
Who's gonna talk to Castiel?
I'm assuming it's Snow, but currently I think Snow is distracted.
Snow is
by the
distracted
stove.
by Castiel does not have a dog. I'm not gonna make that canon.
I mean, if you guys want me to talk, I will. But I just assumed I was. I mean, I don't have seniority or anything here, so I'm just gonna sit here and do this, man.
Here, I'm good. He's getting taken care of now. All right. So Snow Snow is like, since we entered the place, very obviously like uncomfortable. He does not have good experiences with goblinoids, you know. And so he will he kind of just just has a very serious face on it. And he looks at the guy and he says, we're, as I said before, we're here for information and we're willing to pay for it.
I'm going to need you to be more specific in your questions.
Before you answer, hit this, dude.
You're gonna need to give me a persuasion check.
What's he giving him?
This is weed.
Okay.
The Plague Doctor mask doesn't shift, but there's an almost imperceptible like disappointment. That like it's just there.
For Alderhald is sad.
Just a
He is
mild
just-
quiet, just like what the fuck squeaked from somewhere in the place.
You know, you're telling me that Cinder doesn't approve in sharing weed with a questionable person.
Trying to get information.
It might loosen him up. It might loosen him up. Snow approves of this.
He
Snowballed.
Castiel will take the blunt. He will make the musk weed face and kind of shrug. And he will take a hit, and he will hand it. He'll actually hand it to Snow, who's speaking.
Yeah, no, Snow will take a puff.
He seems no stranger to marijuana, but that is strong stuff.
Yeah.
So like, there's maybe not like a couple of blinks and like a like readjustment.
You're in D&D?
I guess Snow would. Oh man, I don't know.
I mean, if you want, it can be like happening that Snow is slightly choking here. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, he might. He's probably, I don't know. He's probably smoked with Leaf before. Maybe not stuff this strong though. He might always take it easy.
This is like my private stash, man. I don't just share this with anybody. You guys are real fortunate here.
I can just imagine the Castiel like smokes it and hands it back in a few seconds, just like what the fuck?
Okay,
Full
here's a
Idris Elba.
question. What does Snow know about like goblin culture when it comes to stuff like this?
History check.
Okay. Like, how do they approach war? Is it? Oh god.
They're your enemy, you know.
Okay, yeah.
And
Yeah,
you, until recently, Snow hasn't been the person to know their enemy, right? In this way, Snow's grown a lot
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
you know year of adventuring.
Yeah. Okay.
Looking around the room, does Leaf see anything out of place? Anything like angling to be a threat? Anything that might be trying to get the jump on us?
Give me an investigation check. Woo-hoo! So while this nothing is like super weird, this isn't a very secure like meeting room. There's an open window with no glass. Someone from the other side of the wall could shoot in from, and he is noticeably not sitting in like a potential firing line from that. That kind of trick does seem kind of goblin to you from what you know about goblins, because you know you lived in the same place that Snow did. You've had to know about this potential enemy. There's nothing out of place or aggressive about this chamber, though. This does really seem to be a room for talking to people about business with a backup plan there. You also can't see any, but you just kind of get the impression, maybe just by kind of like the feel of the air, that the ice walls probably have hollow walkable chambers inside, and there is one of the walls to this room is that outer ice wall.
Okay. Thank you.
I think after the blunt is passed around, Snow will like.
I
he
don't
doesn't know
think it's
anything
going
about...
to the sealed-in play doctor or Adelhard.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like Snow's not dumb enough, but if he was a little dumber, he might be like, Cinder, come out, you want some? No, he's not that dumb.
He's not, but Leaf is.
He passes it to Jensa.
No.
Jensa just like lifts up, sticks it in the beak, and shuts it in top boxes.
Oh jeez. But yeah, no, so Snow, so he doesn't know anything specific about these goblins or goblins in general, but he does know they're mercenaries. So what he'll do is actually like take out like a sack of coin and just put it down and basically just say, just for the hospitality here.
How much is in the sack? How much is in Snow's sack?
Gold.
Okay.
Only 25 gold, but you know.
Yeah.
Just as a present, I feel like that's not a bad
25
amount.
gold is a lot of money.
Yeah, so
yeah, he will nod, and he will kind of he makes kind of a strange motion that is almost like a thanking bow, but in the process he just slides the coin pouch not like into his pocket, but just closer to him than you. And you get the impression that is like a kind of almost goblin deal etiquette going on.
okay. We're here to talk about a former employer of yours.
That explains why you are moving with money first. There are a lot of war masters and generals who would never give up an employer.
Well, at least from what I know, it's been a long time since you've worked with this particular one. Several years at least.
Who is it you're looking for information on?
Snow looks at the others like as if, like, basically giving them a look like, should I tell them?
Adelhard gives a very subtle nod, yes.
Okay. We're looking for a pyromancer by the name of Wyrex.
Interesting.
Interesting good or interesting bad?
I have no love for that spell slinger, nor the retinue of magicians he trained in whatever profane arts he claims to use. Do not take me wrong, I have no hatred for the arts of magic, just for that man.
How so?
Wyrex caused a great deal of suffering in the name of his experiments and military strategies. It is no stranger for hobgoblins of our more southern kin to overlook expenditure of life. Wyrex saw no issue in testing how my people can feel the cold and the heat of his own personal experiments, thinking that by being part of the war called we agreed to such deals. I would not say he's the greatest monster of the war called. I am sure there are a great many more. So many of our southern cousins used that conglomeration to indulge. And we do not approve in any of it. So if you are worried that I will sell you out to the pyromancer for coming here, that should not be your concern.
Do I get a good read on him?
You can give me an insight check while I take a lozenge for no reason.
Actually,
Can Cinder do one too?
Yeah,
yes.
do your insight check.
Yeah.
Inside,
It's inside check.
14, gang. So, for Leaf and Snow, I mean, you are closer to this issue. But you can kind of feel that controlled hate from him. When it comes to Adelhard and Cinder, you've seen people who've gone through battles like this, who, you know, it's not necessarily right to call out a superior, and from what you understand, especially Adelhard, you know, it seems like these hobgoblins are, you know, I'm going to say something offensive, you know, as organized as your navy, you know, and have that kind of, like, etiquette and structure. Different, but that, you know, there's, like, respect and respect built into the to the systems. And, like, by openly saying to relatives, complete strangers, that is actually almost a trust-building exercise. He probably wouldn't admit this if it wasn't that he actually did hate this person and not enjoy it. Not enjoy it.
Adelhard will just give a nod and say thank you. You're what we talk here will not leave this room.
Why do you seek Wyrex?
We have many reasons.
Grant me just one.
Snow looks at Adelhard like, yeah, yours is probably better. This is what he's thinking.
More information.
Information has its appropriate prices. What is it you want to know? The last place I saw him, or where I know he is now?
Move. In case he moved.
Snow, just before he even asks for money, Snow takes 50 gold more and puts it on the table.
I have mouths to feed. And in giving you this information, it may sever business contacts. I'm going to need 10 more pouches of that size, he says, tapping the 50 gold coin pouch.
Yikes. Well, so he's another 500.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I got 50 more, so. Snow looks around at the others, like, oh shit. If the others kind of like shake their heads or whatever, Snow will be like, "Oh man, sorry."
It's actually
Gentle
also...
will take 2 pouches and put them down.
Just for the record, there is 3,250 gold pieces in party funds in the bag of holding.
You don't have the bag of holding. It was on Vincent.
No, somebody picked it up.
No, it was on Adelhard. No, Adelhard has it. That's true.
Yeah, somebody picked it up before they left the
true.
thing.
Yes. Yeah.
Also, I have a
Adelhard will
question.
then take that party gold.
Yeah, so 500 gold from the party gold.
Just as a potential bargaining chip, we also have in the bag of holding Pyromancer Wyrex's spellcasting book. I don't know if that's of use, but it is in the bag.
Yeah,
I think that's a bargaining chip we can use for him, not for this guy.
Yeah, I think we use that for Wyrex.
Yeah.
I do have a question though. Aside from the dragon horns, which Cinder is not offering up because she wants new swords, did we not get scales from the dragon?
I don't think so. I think the horns were really the only useful thing you got.
Yeah, the horns were the only useful thing we had.
The money can go from the bag of holding. That's fine. And he will lean in. There are a great many places that the war call used to convene their generals, all across Openfur. The largest is now in the hands of the king of that continent, so I doubt that Wyrex would return there. But there was a small hidden cove on the north. He'll point it on the map. It was a location that my people scouted out and arranged. We know the land better than our southern cousins when they came to invade. This is where Girat and Wyrex met on occasion, and others. It's where I last saw him when everything was falling apart. Now, I don't think he is on Openfur at all. He left into the northern seas. And he will, actually unfold part of the map that has, the North Seas and some islands on it. And as I check my notes exactly. It's called Hag's Tooth Island. From my knowledge, that is where he's holed up for a long time now, years, with his some of the magicians he taught. I think a great deal of them left to teach their own. After all, our armies were comprised of goblins from every corner of this globe. Many went home. The most loyal stayed with him on that island.
What's a globe? Just kidding.
Is he telling the truth? Can I incite him?
Yeah.
The islands. What does Adelhard know about that collection of islands?
You can give me Do you have navigator's tools as a skill check? Let me open up your sheet.
It is tool proficiency, yes.
Oh. Well, it would be intelligence based. It would be intelligence plus. So give me an intelligence navigator's tool check. With advantage.
Okay.
This is your haunting ground, so remember to check advantage. It does
So
seem
wait,
that...
what do I do? How does this work in the sheet?
Okay, let me look. I know, it's just how do I describe it based on what you're seeing. You should just click it, and it should... Oh, you don't... It doesn't even have the proficiency stuff in it. Yeah, you should just click it. Just click it. It should pop up and ask for intelligence as such. And have advantage toggled when you do so. If not, you can just give me an intelligence check with advantage and we can add the +2 also.
Advantage. There we go.
Well, look at that. Perfectly balanced. When it comes to Cinder's insight, it does seem that he is unwilling to give a lot of information on, you know, where goblins live. But he doesn't seem to be withholding the information about the island. You do know about Hag's Tooth Island, because Adelhard has sailed the North Seas, and the North Seas has more small islands. It literally came up in, like, session 1 of this chapter. There's a lot of small islands there. Ones that either aren't on main maps because they don't need to be, but the Ravenlords have probably mapped all of them. You know, they probably have recurring surveys and things, so at least all of them they're aware of. Hag's Tooth Island is in a relatively safe portion of sea to the north. It is more north than here, but it's also not that cold. It definitely has an unusual biosphere. There is a... you think it's a dormant volcano on the island, and it's not that large. It's maybe a fifth of the size of Oathlandfur, probably habitable space, much, much smaller. It wasn't thought to be inhabited by sentient life when your peoples tracked it, but then that's not really what your people care about when you're looking at the islands. So it's not a very in-depth survey, and you've not been wrong before, but the information has changed. New information has come in before. So you would know how to get to it by sea, and you could probably navigate by air as well if you had to.
Alright.
So yeah, he's tapped the location of the island on the map and given you the location. And actually, he will keep speaking at that point. I won't make one of you speak again. He will say, I would not lose any sleep if your quest with Wyrex is to take his head. But again, I ask for you to have your discretion. For he would as easily kill me if he wished. The Pyromancer is strong. He lacks morals. But he was not the greatest military master of our armies. He kind of like smiles and this is when he drinks his cup of alcohol. He doesn't take a second hit. He knows better.
Yeah, like,
I guess Snow would not basically be like we will. Snow would literally say, "We will forget your name after this moment." Unless, of course, maybe in the future we would actually need your other services. But generally, we're not that type.
My people. Hunters and killers we are, yes. But being a part of that war weighs on many of us. If you are on the hunt for other generals, or even evils that need tracking through the snows and ice, perhaps arrangements could be made. Is that all you will be needing?
Excuse me. There was some mention of toast before, and I could definitely use some toast now, man. I don't know about you, but I got a serious case of the munchies, dude.
Snow is like, we're good. We're good.
All right, you can head out to leave.
We have toast in the castle.
McDonald's.
We have McDonald's at home.
Yeah,
Oh,
I wasn't
jeez.
expecting that's who Snow was, but that Snow has just been placed on the triangle.
We're not going to the Golden Arches, but we're going home to Goldie anyway.
Listen, Cinder would go
Hey.
get a black coffee and then go home.
When we did chapter 1, we did do that chart. When me and Ori did, we were like, here's where everyone was on it.
Yeah, but we had Sabriel, not Cinder.
I know, exactly. This is not season 1. You can leave, the doors are closed behind you, and you've got only the welcome of the ice flats for a bit. But I assume you're just heading back to the tower, which you parked, by the channel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
In which case, what is your plan? What are you doing? What are you discussing, I imagine?
Cinder will linger a little bit after they leave to make
Oh,
sure
no.
nothing nefarious gets said or planned against us as we're leaving.
Can you
She's not
speak
gonna do
Goblin?
anything. Celestial no. The closest thing I guess would be Gnomish or Draconic.
So yeah, there is conversation. When you're leaving, there's more people out and about in the town, ready to fight necessarily than before. That said, you can't speak Goblin, and it's very hushed conversations as well, kind of passed around, but from Castiel to some of the other fighting members. You also notice that none of the non-combatants are still out in the open. The mothers and children have gone inside by the time you've left.
But are they moving to follow the rest of the party?
It doesn't seem so. They don't follow you when you leave.
Okay, she'll just continue out then. She just wanted to make sure they weren't going to follow us and pew pew.
Yeah.
So she
Right.
shows back up.
Back to the tower. Imagine to talk plans, schemes, perhaps even.
Yeah, I guess we would discuss what we're doing.
Good point.
Mhm.
I mean,
By this time,
are we...
Snow, you have gained a point of exhaustion, and you are starting to feel
Oh no.
just more tired than you think you should be. Maybe you're getting old. That's kind of you have got out of the wrong side of bed feeling. You have bad nap feeling, That's the drain of energy you've got right now, Snow. Only Snow.
I'll just way to change it on the sheet. Where's
There
exhaustion?
there is an exhaustion thing on
I
the
just had
sheet
it as a
somewhere.
resource.
You can just do that. That's
Okay.
probably what I did last time. I put
Yeah,
it as well.
I guess when we get back, Snow's if he's feeling it, he'd be like, "Ugh, I don't feel so great, guys."
Yeah.
You probably have ice rot, same as Adelhard did.
What's that?
The disease those lindworms carried.
I can fix it tomorrow, man, but I can't do it right now.
I'll just go to bed and try to sleep it off, I guess.
Don't scratch the wound, whatever you do.
Okay.
Otherwise, you are going to spray ice everywhere, and it is going to hurt.
I need to see if I can gather some stuff on the way back to the tower to make it for us. But it's gonna take me until tomorrow to get it all put together again.
Yeah, I guess Snow would just go and like go to bed early.
All right,
Just
fair
try to
enough.
sleep it off.
Yeah. I mean, you could keep the tower here. Again, 0 stealth. You know, the surroundings are kind of where the ice meets the water. Maybe some mountains in the distance. A giant golden tower that's hovering slightly above the ground.
Not the most stealthy.
Yeah, you have an anti-stealth
during-
vehicle.
Anything
It is not.
between the tower and the and that camp we were just at, for as far as like any like frost herbs or anything like that could be used?
You can pick up a little bit of stuff, but I know you don't need to necessarily do like an actual herbalism check. But you could be picking up things for your like spell casting.
Cool.
Adelhard?
Yeah, so in the night I was wondering, because it was just mentioned they have Vyrek's spellbook. Was just wondering if Adelhard can have a look through it, see what he knows.
Do you read Goblin?
What Vyrek's? No, damn it.
What languages do you read?
Elvish, Common, Mars, Celestial, Draconic, Giant.
You recognize a lot. So this is a. This is just stuff I'm going to give to you right now because you are an arcane spellcaster, so you kind of comprehend this kind of thing. While you are not a wizard who carries a spell book, you understand magic in a very similar way. And this doesn't appear to be this person's first spell book, because the first spells, you know, they are written differently. Second, while some of it is in Goblin, which you can recognize because it uses the same script as Common, some of it is in the same script as Draconic, but you don't speak the language. That language is actually used more often than Goblin in the book that you have. I'm also fairly sure this book is fairly weather-beaten. It's not ruined. There's not much in the way of like sort of missing pages and things, but it's worn. And if Wyrex actually was a wizard, then a worn spellbook would have less power to it. Because they usually can't even be sort of stained or marred, if they're made properly, when they still have arcane power flowing through them. Now, you don't actually know anything. Like, he's just described as a pyromancer by Snow.
Yeah.
And pyromancer is one of those annoying distinctions where it could mean a lot of things. Now, there is the caveat that people who aren't a spellcaster don't know how to categorize spellcasters. But you don't know the specifics of how his spellcasting work. But yeah, the majority of the spellbook, the useful parts, are in a language that uses Draconic script but isn't Draconic.
Okay.
So you can't read it, but you can tell it's what script it is.
Alright.
Alright. I think this is, before you wake up in-game, a great time for a little break. So we'll be back in a few minutes. This is where I test my Stream Deck away screen buttons and see if they work the way I want them to. We'll see you in a few minutes. Ta-da! It's us.
It's
So-
me, Mario.
Anything any of you... So, I mean, it really sounds like you're taking a long rest. Is there anything any of you want to do during that rest other than reading the spell book? And then, is there anything you want to do kind of in the morning? It's an order of operations here. And then it's like, okay, the long rest is done. What are we doing?
Cinder's gonna make a phone call at night because that's when the boss man's awake.
Okay, you're actually...
Yeah.
Are you talking to Varim?
She's just she's calling whoever you think would be the best option, whoever you say she thinks is the best option, to figure out where she needs to take the dragon horns later.
Oh, I mean... I'll tell you this out of character. Both courts you have contact with can, in theory, make something out of them. However,
Okay.
these are material objects, not Fey. Also, you would have to travel back. So it would either be in downtime, where I don't really worry about the traveling, or you would have to make a teleport roll and a teleport back. Because you can't plane shift for free. Or find a slip space, which is where the realms... you can travel between one of the realms, and then physically travel to one of the courts. So, like, that's not very practical for what you want to do if you want to do it in real time. Now, if you end up visiting one of your courts for one of the reasons, in-game, sure, you probably would be able to find, something to do. If you want to do it while... Otherwise... but actually... calling someone to be like, hey, could you get this done? It wouldn't really work.
No, she's just trying to find somewhere to take it to get it done. So that's fine.
The only, the only like crafters in the mortal realm that are big and tied to the Fae are the Fae Forge that you visited before. There are no doubt many little crafters, like personal crafters who worship the Fae, maybe not necessarily worship the courts you follow. Plus, your courts... The Fae courts are essentially demigods, or gods. They don't know everyone in the mortal world that worships them. Personally, it's not how it works. So, yeah, that's... You might find someone.
Okay.
And maybe
So
if
just
you
hold
get a
on
spell...
to them in their bag for now.
Yeah. Good question.
That's all she wanted to do. She just wanted to find out if she knew where she could take them to, like, a blacksmith or something.
If you ended up in either of the Fae courts physically that you go to, absolutely, you'd work it out.
Okay. That's fine. She'll hold on to them, she'll stuff them in the bag and hope the gecko doesn't eat them.
It's the meme with the hamster eating a banana.
I'm going to make the biggest sandwich I can when we get back to the ship, since somebody stopped me from getting toast. And then I'm going to go to working on my next infusion that I've been working on for a little while.
Cool. Morning. Your tower isn't attacked or anything. It's a weird blemish on the landscape, but those goblins aren't bothering you. And it's a very quiet, still place where, considering all of you have been either living... Well, I mean, this is a good comparison. Like, I can go through all of your characters, Adelhar's been back in the city for a long time. Velheim is a noisy city. No matter how much, Adelhard's dad probably tries to soundproof his offices, can't do it all the way. Seems like something he'd do. Not for, any suspicious reasons, just for, I want quiet reasons.
I need to focus.
Yeah. Then we have Snow and Leland, who have been living in a forest, loud, and enjoy the loud, probably. Then you have Jensa, who's been traveling, loud. And then you have Cinder, who has largely been in the, the Fey realm and doing all this, that, and the other, there is a level of stillness in where you've parked your tower. The cold and ice brings that stillness to the air because of the way that sound travels in a cold, icy area. Even though, it's actually nearly winter as well. There is a slight build-up of ice on like the windows of the tower. There would be ice built up on the edge of them and all that sort of thing. But it's not snowing. It's just a bitterly cold night. And because it's an ice flats, it's colder than it would be anywhere else that you've been staying recently. But it's serene and peaceful as well.
I think Jensa would probably spend a little bit of time, because the balcony is like connected to an open area, right? It's not anyone's bedroom. The balcony.
We haven't
is it?
got a specific layout for the house. It's different to Sabriel's house. Sabriel's house tower had 2 balconies. There's one in the office. This only has the one, and it's on the bottom floor, and so it's completely open.
Okay.
So yeah, it just doesn't connect to anything. Oh, but
cool.
before you go too much into detail, you do recover your point of exhaustion, Jensa.
Nice.
Snow, I need you to give me a Constitution save. I know you're just gonna get it cured, but we're doing it.
Could I be checking on him that next morning for his progression as well?
Absolutely. That's literally the DC you need to actually naturally recover. Because you essentially lose 1 level of exhaustion at the start, and if you ever remove them all, you're fine. But it could keep going, and then it gets harder and harder and harder, obviously.
Okay.
You're a barbarian. Curing diseases via willpower is understandable. So Snow probably had a fairly unpleasant night with the shivers and the chills.
Yeah.
But come morning, Snow is better. Probably not feeling the best, but not.
Yeah.
He's got a
mechanically
blanket on him
diseased.
in the morning that Cinder just threw on him. It's kind of,
Oh, that's cute.
slightly
Yeah,
He just-
I thoroughly believe that there are no locks on the bedroom doors other than Adelhard's, and everyone else just doesn't care and goes back and forth.
Like,
Jenser is
that's
too
gonna
new for that to be a
stop
thing.
I'm
that
still sleeping in the
worked out
kitchen.
Yet. That's
Yeah.
true. That's true. I forgot about that.
I like to think that if Leaf comes and checks on Snow's like, he's clearly doing all right, just like a little exhausted and tired still, and so Snow would be like I'm fine, Leaf. Just we're probably gonna have to wait for another day to practice our cornhole skills again.
But here, I made you some oatmeal, man. The oats will get in your system and give you some energy today. I'm sure you could probably use it.
Yeah, so I'll take the oatmeal and happily eat it.
Right, back to Jenser in the morning with the balcony, with the kitchen.
Yeah.
knife. Sorry.
No kitchen knife. No, this isn't. No. Jensa probably just given a moment of calm, and assuming no one else is really around, step out on the balcony, either like in the night or sort of early morning, and just take the mask off and just enjoy the feeling of the wind on their face for a while. Just take it in.
Yeah, it would be pleasant. Ice therapy is a thing in some places, and the air is very pure here, right? That civilization over there, the level of pollution coming from it is not that high. So this is completely pure air coming from the ice flats and the channel around. So it's good, and it is the Jarviskjir equivalent. It's the Amethyst month, which is the Jarviskjir equivalent of September. So it's like the nights are starting to be longer. So like you would have that kind of period of time where it's like still dark, but you can happily do things while everyone else is probably still waking up and getting ready and stuff. I imagine you would put your mask back on before anyone can catch you.
Yes. Unless anyone decides to sneak up and diggy.
I saw that look from Ori, the person most
No,
likely to
that
sneak up on
look-
someone.
That look was because I knew that it was going through everyone's head that it was going to be Cinder.
Ah,
That's what
dang
that
it!
look was.
You are. I mean, okay. You turned me calling you out into you calling me out. You Uno
No,
reverse.
Cinder's actually, you know what? Cinder doesn't come out there. She doesn't sneak. She just kind of like, she's in this weird mood of wanting to be nice to people today. I don't know, it's the Fae shit, fuck it. But she doesn't sneak up on her. She just kind of like slides a like paper wrapped pastry across the floor of the balcony and is gone. She's like upstairs.
It's like by the time you're finished strapping the plague mask back on, you notice, a pastry from the pastry stores.
Lift up, look, like, peer around. Don't see anything. And just thinking, I'll turn back and take the mask off and enjoy the pastry on the balcony.
There's nothing magic about it. I got it from the elf shop, okay? Ollie, don't look at me.
No, I know. I was assuming it was just one of the things, this is a Sun Elven tower. I don't worry about your food consumption because honestly, the Sun Elves would have stocked it with so many foods that last a long time. And that would include, like, pretty much preserved, like, pastries and things. And such.
Full of Twinkies.
There's I was thinking croissants, but sure. Maybe Sun Elves do eat Twinkies. They do certainly have Twinks.
Yeah, I was gonna say they are a race of Twinkies, to be honest.
eat-
They're a race of
They eat
twunks.
Twinkies.
Twunks. There's certainly a cream filling.
So, eventually,
Gabriel's head, like, whips
everyone,
around.
eventually everyone has had, breakfast, got ready for the day, and at some point, you're likely gonna have a team meeting to discuss what's going on. It's probably not that formal because you aren't professionals, despite the lie you told Castiel. So, but at some point, conversations of what happens next will happen.
Well, some of us are professionals.
Yeah.
As a professional.
What?
Adelhard and Cinder are the most professional here, with Jensa also being professional, but Jensa isn't a professional adventurer. Jensa's a professional
I'm a researcher.
virologist.
Yeah. I'm the book nerd. I'm not used to fighting things.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All of us are professionals in one way or another, just not at that.
I think despite Leaf's skill, Leaf would struggle to get guild membership anywhere.
Not
Too much
really
weed,
his bag
probably.
anyway.
No, I know.
Want me on
He's into free trade, free love, free everything.
Yeah, I guess when we meet up, we can start by asking Goldie if Goldie could, like, plot a course to the island.
With Adelhard's help, because I don't know if any of you remember this, Goldie, who runs the tower, is run by not ticker tape, but is run by basically a paper disc. It's a very primitive technology that's actually being used in very old trucks and like haulage vehicles. So like giving him information on paper is the best. So like Goldie and Adelhard, I imagine it's one of the first things that happens in the day before any conversation's happening, is like Adelhard is going, okay, we're gonna go to this island this way, and this is probably the best way. I mean, you might change plans slightly when you get closer and you can look at the island, but you would probably have a plan of journey that Adelhard's been thinking about since, you were told where you were going. And you can give that to Goldie and plot the course. I don't know if you want to take off yet, but that can be ready and prepped in the, like, morning hours.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, he would have prepped it in the morning hours.
Okay. Then I guess Snow would just look at the rest of the group and be like, do we want to head out now or make any stops on the way?
I mean, we don't exactly have anywhere else to go, do we? I mean, it's basically just a straight shot to the island. I don't know anything else around there, so if there's anywhere else we can stop, then...
We could try to
Otherwise-
get the battering ram installed first.
No.
You mean from the moon lady who stole this place from you when you tried
No.
to get the
I don't
thing?
trust her with that anymore. We would have to go somewhere else.
We
But...
could go back to Uncle Ballard. I'm sure we can get them to do something to it. It's their tower, isn't it?
Well, they gave me, I'm
It's their tower.
Is this where Snow's kind of been like, I probably should have given it back when Pete left.
So-
and you
I was
like,
like,
I kind of
I'm
accidentally stole the car.
I'm taking care of it for
call
Sabrail and
him.
Ballard. No, I
You
think
should-
that's okay.
I can
That's...
call Uncle Ballard. He probably would like this weird game of holes and boxes you've got in the room.
I'm sure Ballard has played cornhole.
I don't know about that. He's probably played. Never mind. She's not gonna say.
Oh no. No,
Golden
but
skin, baby.
so it was like I think I was joking about the battering ram. I think we're probably good to go unless we want to upgrade our weapons or buy more potions or materials for potions, I guess.
I mean, I got all the materials for potions we need, and I still got a couple of dozen healing potions to get us through. I mean, just mainly the standard ones. I got a couple of big ones for a rainy day, but like that's really the only ones I got is the baby ones.
Okay.
It does seem like heading straight there is the best option we have, even if it's the most dangerous. I mean, isn't this place an inactive volcano?
It is, yes.
And we're chasing down a pyromancer.
Do you think we could?
We are.
Do you think that we could fool Wyrex, like pretend to be talking to him about business?
Where
Tempter.
will be
And then perhaps stab him in the back.
Yeah, well, if we can get him into like a closed space, then we can get the information out of it.
I mean, you might want to get him like not in an enclosed space, but more like where the water is, where the ocean is, where there's not that much easy access to things that are flammable around the man who is the fire wizard.
I've been lit on fire before. It's fine.
I'm sure you have.
Like, it's not fine. That's not normal.
There was, so I was thinking back to
Also-
the time when he threw the entire necklace of fire or armband at his feet.
I live in a volcano that's dead. There's water in it, but not all of them are like that, so we don't know what's inside this one.
plus with
We
the
will know
whole
more once we approach the island. We will be approaching from the air after all.
That's true.
We
for
can
speaking
alter
to
course once we see more.
The only thing about talking to Wyrex that's a little worrying to me is that we're arriving in a sun elf tower, flying across the ocean, and coming with giants who fought a war with him directly. I'm not sure that makes for a good business proposition.
No, it doesn't.
Well, can we not just do like something along the lines of when I stole the papers from the man with the horns? I mean, I'm sure he won't be fooled by a squirrel, but could go in and see if he's got any information in his camp or whatever he's living in.
He is a wizard. I believe he won't catch any of us hiding.
I mean, or we could attempt a teleport in and see if it works. I can't guarantee that it will. But I got us out of the hole in the ground. That worked. So, I mean, we could try it.
What if, well, once we get there, we can see what's going on, like Adelhard said, but
We can attempt to hide our approach as best as possible.
or maybe
The
we
tower
could,
seems stable enough
yeah.
It's also shiny.
to go through storms.
Didn't you got the tower from Sabriel, right?
Yeah.
So what if you take the tower back there and ask whoever built it? I'm assuming he didn't, because I don't know anything about whatever. I don't think he made it. So can you not take it back to whoever your tinkerer is and have them do something to the outside to make it not so? She like throws up like a little ball of light, like beacons have been lit.
There are
Yes, perhaps we can ask someone to cloak it.
You know, it's like my speciality, but I am a little bit of a tinker myself, dude. I
don't think you're okay.
There was
I'm like excellent with tools, and I'll just start producing tools from all over the pockets and things, and he just has a collection. I'm gonna like roll out an entire like carpeted mat that just has like an entire collection of different tools for different occasions.
I was thinking, he's like, well, there were the two sisters, and one of them worked on things, but I don't know if that's
Also, if we go back there, maybe we can ask my girlfriend for stealth tips, because she's really good at sneaking into places.
It would be worth a try to ask the Sun Elves to do something about hiding the tower.
yeah.
I'm sure Sabriel would not like it to be stolen again.
Is there?
And when he says again, he looks at
Do I have to play Sabriel today too? I'm okay with that, but I need to know if I'm
Maybe
taking
not.
the right.
It depends if you go back. It's an option. You have a flying vehicle that moves fast, so traveling
Yeah.
large amounts of space is an option. You just have to be willing to kind of invest that time out of character
Go
and
somewhere
in
else with
character.
lightsaber.
But the thing is, in theory, Wyrix doesn't know you're coming, so there's not really many.
Yeah.
Delaying isn't necessarily an issue. It's just, is it worth it?
Like,
What if Cinder is thinking that we should probably get it cloaked largely because we'll be seen coming from a mile away.
Yeah.
What if we like stay above the clouds and like we can like float down into the island and stuff?
It is of note right now. I mean, now is a different time to future, but there's like no clouds in the sky. It's like perfectly clear.
Hmm.
I'll look outside. Nope, there goes that idea. Never mind.
But
We
you
should
did do
probably
this
go
when
get it.
flying to Velheim. So, and
well-
Adelhard can remember that you did do this. You were attacked by sky ghosts, but you did
Yes,
hide
we were
in a
attacked by
cloud.
magic sky ghosts.
Stella looked at her. He's like,
We
we
should
could
probably go to the Sun Elves.
we could go.
It
to the
will
Sun
make
Elves.
the approach easier. Definitely.
That seems like a good option. We can go there, at least discuss maybe making things a little less conspicuous. And if not, then do our best, I guess.
Alright.
Okay. You're all in agreement. You want to return to High Thundrol, the city of the high elves, the sun elves.
Stowe's a
Well,
little privately nervous that he's gonna get in trouble for his renovations, but
I gotta decide how Sabriel's gonna react to that. Ballard's
Yeah.
probably gonna be like, "This is fucking great."
Yeah, Ballard's
Sabriel's
gonna be like-
like,
I bet you Ballard is playing cornhole on like a tailgate of a Sun Elf soccer game.
I like to imagine that in some various ways that the outside of this thing has paintings on it, like the Mystery Machine. It just has random like
Well,
flowers.
yeah.
And
You said you painted it. when
it's
Snow
got-
parked it. You've painted
it's
the
got
outside as a
murals
hippie
of-
town. now.
Fucking neon is what it is.
We're gonna fly near High Thundral, and like the tower's gonna open, and just the fucking
Is it like a
sun
hippie
lasers just
van
gonna
now?
shoot it down.
Is the tower a hippie van now?
The tower is a hippie
Gabriel's
van.
jaw
Yeah.
is going
Yeah.
to dislocate like a fucking skeleton and
Yeah.
fall off
Yeah.
of his face.
Oh,
They're gonna
Leaf
get
and-
shot down.
Leaf and Ballard are about to be best friends. You just don't even know.
Let's go.
Right.
Let's go home.
Yeah,
I'm gonna
we'll
park
see.
it. You know those videos where we'll clean like old rusty plates with lasers? It's just gonna be that. It's gonna get around it and just clean the whole thing off.
The best sensory videos on YouTube, you mean?
So you have clear skies and a clear route. There's no mountains in the way. There's nothing. The only thing in the way is the city of Bastillion, which you could maybe stop off in if you wanted to.
Do we
So-
want to die? No.
I mean, you're playing D&D. Death is inevitable. It's just when.
Won't be my first character.
You so I'm gonna say it's a roughly 2-week journey, which is fast, but you can also go fast. And travel through the sky to High Thundral. This is, 2 weeks with Leaf and Jensa in the party. Traveling in a comfortable but still small enclosed space, living with these people. Just so you know, that's a thing that has happened. If there's anything you guys want to do during the travel, let me know now.
Unless there's any objections, Leaf has taken to cooking the meals for everybody.
Yeah, Sabriel did it before, and then Snow cooks, but I think it's canon that Snow isn't a good cook, right? I think every time we've rolled for it, it's been bad.
He can cook like some rustic things, but they're never that good. Never that
Cinder
great.
can cook. Whether they trust it or not is another question, but Cinder can cook.
Well, the problem
Jen's
is
are probably-
Leaf doesn't know not to trust you yet.
Jensen probably can cook. She just doesn't want to. For various reasons. One, Leaf's cooking's probably a lot better, and two, y'all probably don't want like gross disease juice landing in your food.
During that 2 weeks, at some point, Leaf will approach Jensa. I know you know a lot about your ailments. I don't know what the proper term is, and I don't want to be offensive, and if I am, I'm sorry. Would you mind if I tried to help?
If you want, but the chance of you being able to cure this is low, but I doubt you could do much harm at this point.
I don't think I
Okay.
can cure it now, and it's going to take some time for me to look into it and do some research, and that's going to take a considerable amount of vulnerability on your part. And if you're not okay with that, it's fine. You can completely say no. You look like it hurts.
It does, but there's some give and some take. I mean, before I caught this, I was just some researcher wandering around, and well, you've seen what I can do now. It's incredible. I mean, to be entirely honest, as much as I want to cure it, if I can keep what I've learned and what it's given me, I'm all for it. This is a power I never expected to have, ever. So if I can extrapolate a way to have all the good, shall we say, and get rid of all the unpleasant side effects, I'm all for trying it. It's research at the end of the day, and I'm the only subject I have. And you've got a way of trying to treat things I don't.
All right. Well, I'll give it a shot, and then, like I said, it's going to take some vulnerability on your part. But if you need me to do anything or say anything or whatever to make you feel more comfortable, you tell me, and we'll do it. I don't care, but let me see if I can help you.
You make the concoctions, I'll take them in whatever way they need taken, and we'll see what happens. It probably won't kill me.
Hopefully. I'll walk away.
Well, I'll just make sure to infect you as well then.
Anything else anyone wants to do during the travel?
I just imagine Adelhard probably had some research tomes with him in case they were traveling for longer, so he would just be reading, doing research.
Ah, yes, canonically
Pretty
learning
fair.
your new spells.
Not even bad.
I know, that kind of thing, though. Gotta keep your mind sharp.
Exactly.
After the travel time, you reach the western side of the continent, where Thundrol and High Thundrol is. The High Elven city of quite tall buildings on the ground, and then up above it in the sky, a floating city of cathedrals built upon floating rocks, all the same glittering, glossy gold that this tower is, without the hippie van illustrations on the side. You know, some of you have been to High Thundrol before. It's still remarkable. For Jenser and Leland, it's not even a thing out of a fairy tale. It's too much to be something out of a fairy tale. It's grand and large and powerful, but it's also quiet. Even from afar, you can kind of tell, you know, that there's only like a couple of Pegasus flying around between buildings and such. It seems like the place should be busier than it is. Without any influence from you guys, the tower is going to park in High Thundrol on the main cathedral island beside Sabriel's. They park side by side, close together. Both towers the same. These being Sun Elven towers that fly, and Sabriel's one you did explore in beforehand. And yes, Sabriel's is clean and neat and beautiful looking. And
Sabriel's about to
yours
be
is-
one of those neighbors that complains on the other neighbor for their lawn decoration.
We're about to get hit by the High Thundrol Homeowners Association.
Trying to find the meme that this reminded me of.
Do post it in Discord if you actually. I don't know if you might
Yeah.
get bombed.
We're bringing property values way down.
And the property values are extravagant here.
Yeah.
This is the rich side of town.
We're bringing them right to the bottom.
The tower fits very brilliantly in this little nook, and the front porch basically unfurls onto this small kind of gardened walkway that your house, your tower, and Sabriel's tower share. And it's, you know, it's silent. There's no fanfare. There's the sound of songbirds from Sabriel's house. But, you know, it's not like there's a welcoming party or anything. You just kind of land in High Thundrol. And the area you where Sabriel's house isn't incredibly public. On the other side of a wall is kind of the main front areas of the palaces and whatnot, but it's quiet enough. Quiet enough for, you know, the wonder and also the sensation of, yeah, okay, you've been on a flying tower, but then you take a step onto a flying island that's, you know, the size of a city. You know, all of that to be its own sense of wonder. For those who haven't been here before. Also, you're very, very high up, and the air is thin. Not painfully so, but it is a new experience that people have to get used to if they've not been here before.
Is not Zelius the first here? Wait, which one is it? Zelius
the second.
Or is
the
it-
second.
Okay.
Good question. Yes, Zelius II is outside, so you actually know that Sabriel is likely home, along with you don't see Balord's horse, but you would see Cal's horse, who I don't know if we have the name for it, but you would recognize. So
Okay.
both Sabriel and Calravale are home, because they're their Pegasi are outside.
Okay. Yeah. I guess when we walk out, like out of the tower onto the main island, I guess, right?
Mhm.
Then Snow will be like, "Hey, Zelius the Second."
Fucking horse does a thing from the Hercules movie with the his wings are up.
But
We
yeah,
know that Zelius II is a goof. So
Himbo?
Zelius would like
yeah.
Snow's attention. And probably make a
Himbo
whole bunch of
horse.
noise too. Probably
Dying.
neighing and
So we'll look at the rest of the
around.
group and be like, we should probably try to find Balord first before Sabriel sees the tower.
Do you want me to roll a
landed
perception
right
on
next
Sabra?
to them?
What's wrong with the
He
tower? It's like it
probably
looks
has
awesome.
seen us.
Yeah, they have different sensibilities here, Leaf.
Do they have like different foods and stuff? Because like something smells phenomenal out here.
Yes, they do have different foods.
This walkway we're on, are we able to look over the edge and look
the
down?
the step between your tower and the walkway is like 3 foot wide, and it's just sky between it. So yes, you can look out to the edge, and you had to walk over that to get there.
Jensa probably came out last. Looking at her like, oh. I'm just not gonna look. I'm just not gonna look. And just take one like slight like hop leap off onto the walkway and just like avoid the steps and just like this isn't right. How high up are we?
I don't know. A lot.
Consider spout off some ridiculously high number that is probably right.
It's a high number, but it's in like a weird Fey measurement, you know? So it's like complete gibberish.
We're like 5,000 unicorns tall. If you use the standard unicorn measurement, but if you use the non-standard unicorn measurement, we're like 3,000 unicorns tall.
What the Never mind. I can't tell if it's altitude sickness or you're really like this.
Yes.
Is the one dick fuck anywhere? Wait, I realize that's not very descriptive. The mean elf dude.
I know
the guy
who
who-
you mean. I actually know who you mean. The
can't
Knight
remember
of the
his name.
Sword.
What?
You're thinking
Hey,
of the
wait a
Knight of
minute.
the Sword.
Him and Sabriel made a little bit of peace the last time they talked.
Oh,
He's still a
okay.
dick, but they made
So
Yeah.
you are alone, other than the 2 Pegasus, because the area you're in is a quiet area where Sabriel's house is. You
Yeah.
haven't gone to the main public areas yet. In theory, any Sun Elf could walk around, but Sun Elves respect, the privacy. This is essentially Sabriel's garden.
Let's
But it's
just
also
go-
a public footpath.
I think Soda's is gonna start heading off towards Balord's place.
Cinder's already skipping that direction, like she's
Yeah.
ready.
Yeah, let's go meet Ballard.
So you guys
Balor
take
looks at Sabriel's tower for a moment, sees everyone else leave to Balor. Okay, fine.
So these guys are leading you through the city of cathedrals made of gold. Around, through more gardens, just the edge. There's not always railings, because elven children are dexterous. This is how they learn.
I'm
So
falling several thousand feet.
funny you say that, but Erevail used to parkour in this city between islands. So yes.
Oh.
But you're basically going
Jens-
like behind this palace.
Jens is walking in the middle of the road, completely as far away from any edge as possible.
You pass this large, kind of almost sparring arena that overlooks the edge, and then can go around to the front of this palace, they are leading you into the largest, most grand building. There's these brilliant statues of ancient Sun Elven warriors, and they just walk in. This is when you are seeing more Sun Elves. And for those who haven't met them, which is, Sun Elves are not common. You were saying earlier, it's like, oh, this person will know we're coming because we're Sun Elves. Sun Elves, there's like 400 of them in existence, right? They're not common. This is an empty city. You pass a half dozen Crusaders doing their training protocols and standing in the gates and stuff, wearing this full, heavy armor made of Arcor, this elvish gold. And Snow and Cinder just walk into the palace archway and know where they're going and like go up a certain route and past this grand hall where there's the first thing you see looking into the palace is this big chamber where there's stained glass painting of the three faces of the sun, and which basically the three gods that these people represent as being the sun, and these great statues, and also the stained glass and the paintings that show the main conquests of the Sun Elves, that being the giants, the orcs, and then the void creatures of Cramon, the giver of gifts. I feel like I've forgotten one. Compare this with when I described this area in Chapter 1. Yeah. But they know where they're going. They aren't like, oh, look at all the art. They're going. they're traveling quickly.
Leaf is, hey, look at all the art.
Yeah.
Like, you know when like the nerdy kid in school goes on a museum school trip and is just in awe at everything they're seeing? That's what Jen's is like right now. Hard to see the expression. Yeah. Me as well, every single time. Like, but it's just like, even behind, like, probably behind like the Plague Doctor mask, there is definitely a sense of wonder just fucking radiating off of Jensa right now, because they're like walking and like spinning in circles looking at everything.
Yeah.
How do you know where you're going? This place is massive.
Well, Uncle Ballard
Your voice
is,
echoes.
my uncle.
Oh, we've been here before. It's you get used to it after a while.
Been here before?
I go here all the time. Uncle Ballard is like my uncle,
Yeah, he's like my uncle too, kind of. Not really.
And who's Ballard? Wait, hold on a sec. And who's
Cinder just yells out, Uncle Ballard!
Well, if we're getting close to the spot, Snow remembers in the past when we barged in on him when he had company, we could say. So he's gonna knock. Unless Cinder just gonna go like, boom.
That company was Sabriel, thank you very much.
No, another time he had two lady friends with him.
One of them could have been Sabriel.
From a right angle, you'd never know. Yeah, you can kind of imagine a pair of you are calling out, and you get to the area near the top where it's kind of like essentially the lobby outside of Ballard's penthouse, basically, at the top of the palace. And these massive 12-foot doors emblazoned in artistry burst open, and charges out is Ballard, a kind of 6.5 foot tall, very old looking sun elf, but he's refined in age. He's got a bulky physique and a kind of squarish face. He's got now quite silver hair in a long single braid. He wears an eye patch over one eye, and the other eye is radiating with pure divine magic. And he is wearing clothes.
That was my next question.
That was the question.
It was the question.
Well, at least he's very close.
He's wearing a kind of like smoking gown kind of thing. It's not like a dressing gown for sleeping. It's more of a, relaxing and hanging out. He is out and about. He doesn't have shoes on or anything though.
It's his house.
It's his house.
Dogs out for free. Bark, bark.
And he bursts open the doors and is smiling widely as he is. And he looks and he's like, Snow and little Cinder will rush over.
Cinder leaps 15 feet into it.
He will quite effortlessly, he'll basically catch, spin, and then yeet Cinder off the way you came. It seems like something that has been done before. The little fastball special maneuver. Yeah. And then we'll go up and do the predator handshake with Snow, because this old man is made of muscle. I wasn't expecting your company.
Well, we have some business here, but we wanted to say hi before we got to that.
Well, a good greeting is always in order. There's so many folk who just barge right in, and often Cinder is one of them.
Hey, I don't barge in, I teleport, and I have permission.
Here's we have some new friends here. Actually, Snow tries to think. He can't remember if Adelhard has met Balord.
Yes.
Adelhard has met Balord, but not as much as the rest of them.
Yeah. So he's like, yeah, we have Adelhard and Cinder, myself, but then we also have my friend Leaf from back home. He's a Planavar.
I know. I've been waiting to play more cornhole.
Yeah, man.
You do play the holes in boards game.
And we have Jedsa here as well.
Denzel will give like a slightly like almost like reverent bow, being like, "Holy shit, what the fuck is like?" It's to her, it's like literally meeting a divine being. It's just like
when
he is
when Leaf sees Jensa bow, he just awkwardly just like half bow, like not sure if that's the right thing to do. It's just like gets kind of caught in between.
She seems to be some kind of bird, Snow.
It's a whole thing. I'm sadly afflicted with a condition that could spread, could not, so I keep myself inside this to prevent such unfortunate circumstances.
I'm sure we could burn that out. And he will just kind of form the fireball that forms between his hands, you've seen it before, is basically a miniature sun, like the kind of like texture and image to it.
Wow,
that's remarkable, dude.
While I very much appreciate the offer, I don't think I'd potentially survive that.
Just hold it right there for a second, though. All right, and I'm gonna light this real quick.
Does Ballard learn smoke?
Ballard has done heroin with Vincent. I'm so sure he's down to do some
he does
marijuana.
Zabarel too, so
yeah.
You know,
wait. He has done heroin
with Vincent.
Yeah, with Vincent.
It was a downtime activity.
Technically, it was an opium.
It was
bin,
opium.
But let's not split
You're right.
Like,
Let's not break canon.
And him and Zabarel have done pot. I'm sure he's done other things with a certain someone else. I mean,
like, here's the thing. You know, they always say that like if you like with cigars and stuff, if you like light it with like a match or like a butane light, wherever, it like affects the cigar, like the flame and shit.
Oh yeah, you're definitely getting some divine magic from that.
I was gonna say like divine
Sunweed.
blunt rotation right here, literally.
You've seen before, mostly out of character at this point, that like Ballard is basically leaking divine magic. Like his spellcasting is not neat. So like you're getting some divine power from that blunt. And he will close his hands together and just like the magic disappears. And he puts a hand on Snow's back and takes the blunt and smokes and hands it back and goes, "I'm deeply sorry about Vincent."
So nods solemnly, just like we. It's a shame he couldn't be here to celebrate our past victories with us.
He was a good man. Good memories. Ones I can remember.
Still nods.
That's like my kind of dude.
I have his shield.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot we brought the shield here, right, to give to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess that would be like, maybe the awkward pause, but so it would be like, is Sabriel doing all right?
Oh, well, of course, the whole babies situation. They're not here yet, but it's closer every season.
Would you, if you wouldn't mind, would you be able to come with us to go talk to Sabriel?
I love talking to Sabriel!
It's just one of those things where Sabriel might be a little mad at us if we don't have you.
Oh, you brought back home another stray, did you? 2 of them.
Well, no.
We're still having to deal with Grimwald.
Yeah,
What's that?
Oh, he's in the
What's a
basement.
Grimwald, dude?
He's in the basement with
Listen, Uncle Ballard, I don't need to know what you guys get up to in the basement. I just want to know what he is.
I never quite worked it out.
Got it.
Yeah. So I guess Snow wants to head back down to our tower and to meet with Sabriel there.
Yeah. There'll be a lot of random non sequitur small talk on the way down, purely to Snow and
imagine?
Cinder.
Like on the way there, when we're imagining the game, explaining what Sabriel might be mad about. All we hear in the distance as we get closer is just Sabriel just going
all you hear from Sabriel's house, you hear the lemon grab-esque screech from
Yeah, I imagine by the time you get back, Sabriel and
Cinder,
Calravale
while we're
are
walking there.
Yeah.
Cinder asks if Goma is home.
I don't see why not. I don't.
Okay.
I can't keep my eye on everyone. At
No,
once.
you only got one.
Exactly.
Ha.
If I had 2, I'd be able to, spy on everyone, but just the one.
Okay. But yeah, you hear lemon grab-esque screech from
Yeah.
Sabriel.
When you get back to the street and round the corner, I imagine the entire Sabriel Aphelion family is outside. There's Sabriel, there's Calravale, there's the wife, Alina.
Oh yeah.
The birds.
The birds.
It's
The little root that has no
little
sunflower
root,
on it.
yeah.
it's Sabriel's
At this
probably
point,
angrily
Alina-
pacing in front of the tower.
I think I'm imagining that Sabriel is too angry to pace. It's not
Yeah, no, he's
looking,
just-
staring.
Bro is just standing there doing this. The whole
burning
time.
a hole through the floor.
He's I would assume because Sabriel's the law order one out of the 3 of them, so Sabriel's just sitting there there's so much disorder going on in
You
this
hear
picture.
a little bit of a conversation as you enter in the celestial infused elvish that the celestial elves use, as Calravale has his hand, Calravale being Sabriel's husband, on Sabriel's back, and it's turned to him, and it's a very soft voice, sing-songy tones, in a way, it is a kind of artistic expression.
He just slowly turns his head to Cal and is there is artistic expression, and then there is whatever you want to call this.
It's modern.
Hey Sabriel, how you doing? Snow calls out.
And just slowly
You like the art, dude? It's pretty great, right?
Caravale will
Snow
say
kinda, gets behind Ballard a little bit.
Caravale will say in Celestial but actually using the mental link that they share as a married couple, which is real, to basically be don't go too hard on them. I'm sure it was well-meaning. And then we'll just take one big step behind Sabriel as well, basically the same as Snow did.
Oh, that's funny.
And kind of like pull Alina along with him. Alina looking properly pregnant now. Alina being Sabriel and Calorvale's wife. Before, it was the kind of stage where it would have been impolite to ask if she was pregnant. Now she is definitely pregnant. Ballard just kind of... Ballard walks over and starts laughing. This is magnificent. Ah, true, unfiltered plan of our art. Is that a penis?
No, it's a mushroom, but I should totally paint a penis on it. That's an excellent idea.
No!
It's a sign of virility.
I know that there was a lack of inconspicuousness to the tower before. But now it's a beacon and very identifiable.
Thank you. That is wonderful for you to say, and I truly
That was
appreciate
not
it.
a compliment.
Oh.
This is Sabriel speaking now, by the way. Not
Yeah. Cinder's just like, I don't care. This is
Oh, I
pretty.
know. That's Leaf making his introduction.
I know. I'm making it clear for the audience.
Sabriel, Ballard, you'll be happy to know we even put a whole room dedicated to cornhole now. No longer do we have to set it up outside. It's inside now.
We are not savages.
Exactly.
Hey, we go to a lot of cold places now.
Cornhole.
It's a game, Sabriel. We can play it if you want.
You like
get like a little,
Sabriel.
you get like a little canvas bag and you fill it with like beads or like rice, and then you sew it up, and then you stand on the other side of each other with like boards that has holes in them, and you try to toss the bean bags into or beans. I guess it could be beans.
There was
Why are
the
you
one
throwing
time-
them into a hole and not at each other? That's
For
not...
points.
There was one time I threw it a little too hard and it scattered everywhere, and there's still beads scattered throughout the whole tower, but we don't worry about that.
I leave for insert amount of time here.
Been
And
about 6 months probably since Sabriel left.
You can like sort of hear them shift around on the floor when we take off. I know because I sleep on the floor in the kitchen.
Sabriel.exe is trying to stop working.
Yeah, for a Sun Elf, 6 months is probably like 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
why
he's
Sabriel
like-
doesn't care, but also Sabriel has realized that these are stupid mortals who live short lives.
But, don't worry, Sabriel. We didn't mess with too many other things, and then
Please
still
tell me
realize
Goldie
this.
is still intact and not neon.
Did you paint Goldie yet?
Yeah, it's a dangerous word to use in this circumstance.
I don't really want to say because this dude seems really mad about me painting the tower, and this might break him. So I'm just gonna step behind Snow now.
No, Sabriel's not mad. That's just his constitution. Sabriel wouldn't be
On
mad.
the other hand, it's just this pointing at the top was out of my control.
Just
So-
bear in mind that you're going to be a father soon, Sabriel. I'm sure you're going to have to deal with all kinds of chaos. I mean, it'll be the first child born in over 100 years. I'm sure that we've gotten quite rusty. This is merely experience. In that
Sabriel just
arena.
points at Cinder. You've had plenty of practice. And then he looks back at the tower. All right. Fine. I won't make you dance like I make the recruits dance.
We
Are we dancing?
We actually came here to speak about the tower. We had two things. First, we wanted to see about the battering ram installment, and then the second is about if there's any sort of way to make it more stealthy.
Well, not painting it with all these colors would be a start, but what's her name, Ollie?
Tanuma.
Tanuma. You'll have to speak to Tanuma about modifications to the tower.
Was
Like-
Tanuma the one that had the crush on Peep, or vice versa?
Tanuma's sister had a crush on Pete.
Okay.
Because Tanuma is a clone, and there's a younger clone sister. She's a cloner. Yeah. Good.
What's the
good,
other one
keeping
saying?
that. Tanuma's sister was called Hope, I believe.
Okay,
Yeah,
that sounds
Hope
right.
sounds right.
Okay.
You guys gonna go down to the basement? To the engineers?
Unless Sabriel.
Is we gonna stop them before they try and go?
This Sabriel wants to interrogate the stragglers that have come along.
Do you want Sabriel to talk to Jensa? Like, because he
Just
noticed
whatever
the
Sabriel would
plague
do?
doctor. I don't know how much Sabriel we want to. That's why. He notices the plague doctor stuff. He sees Leaf. He's like, okay, you're one of those. And then he looks at Jensa. Is there some affliction you have that needs tending to? He points at his husband and himself. He's like,
No, she refused the burning, the cauterization.
not your kind of
diseased
healing, my dear
flesh.
Ballard.
It works.
It
I've had no
also kills
complaints. Yes,
But- but-
Caravel says they're not able to complain after you are done. Dear
But that
Lord
sun
Commander.
lit this shit up, though.
Sabriel's like, what shit?
This, you want some?
He looks at it. He looks at Cal. He looks at Ballard.
Cal is like leaning back around at Sabriel, like looking. Like
Sabriel
Yeah.
picks it up.
Cal's into it.
Around your pregnant wife?
They're elves.
She's fine.
The
A little bit of pipe
Yeah.
weed is surely good for the first elven child born in 100 years.
It's toasted.
Sabriel's
think-
like,
I've heard
got
that
the
it makes
wind
them.
blowing the
I've
different
heard that,
direction.
that pipe weed makes sun elves born without that stick in their ass.
Snow is like
Divine strikes. It's
Snow is
toasted.
like he didn't hear that from me, but he probably did.
Like, here's
I don't know
the
how
thing,
much this
Sabriel
is
has
canon.
a stick up his ass because of a certain lore reason.
Me, I
Sabriel's
think
just-
during this whole conversation, I think Snow is trying to avoid eye contact with Cal because of the awkward interaction they had a while
True.
back.
True.
Cal
True,
just
true, true.
threatening him with his life.
The
yeah,
most
just-
awkward interaction. This is the thing when you have
even
different
I-
levels of dad in the trio. You have Sabriel, who is the stern dad. You have Ballard, who is the fun dad, and you have Cal, who is seemingly the kind dad until you fuck with him, and then he is the murderous dad.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's almost like
Like,
it means something.
To answer your question, I am afflicted with something, but I doubt there's much you can do to alleviate my condition.
Wouldn't know until we had a look and tried. We've dealt with many a plague, and you remember Calravel, that one time we came back and it was, yep.
If it helps, I contracted it around the White Forest.
Does he know anything? Do they know anything
Yeah.
about that?
History checks, and I guess root out your old Sabriel sheet and press the history button.
Yeah, I've got it up still.
Snow would probably not.
I think you even
No.
updated it. No.
Well, I leveled him up to 10 since
yeah,
he
it was
wasn't
something
coming back
like
for
that.
a while.
Yeah.
Where are we going?
Is it just? I will.
Uh,
I will use my flash of genius and add 5 to my roll.
Whoa! Okay, so yes, Leaf has heard of a place where interesting, weird plants grow because this is a place where we said that Leaf isn't part of a herbalist guild, but there's herbalist wanders and while picking for things and rumors spread that such ways. And there is a talk, and it has come to the north, that in the heartlands of Jarviskjir, if you imagine Jarviskjir is 3 slices. You're in the north, there's the heartlands, and then there's the savage lands. The heartlands there's an area called the White Forest, in an area that was afflicted by a undead curse of some kind. You don't know the specifics of that, but you know it was mostly lifted or something, and the White Forest is a forest that was bleached by necromantic magic. And so, the plants that grow there, or originate from there, have innate necromantic properties that actually can be used for medicine. And so, you actually know of, there was, back when Slate Cove existed, someone who had quite a garden of White Forest plants there. Because they regrow if you can plant them and you tend to them correctly like a proper herbalist would. It is a place of interest for herbalists because of that. Sabriel would know the location and would know about the curse. There is a human city called Lichvale. It was not strictly a part of either of the human kingdoms. It wasn't a part of Goldport or Northenden. But where it's kind of been weirdly neutral and come back and forth between its alignment. It was ravaged by an undead curse at one point, and it was the kind of thing that I imagine there were conversations about whether the Sun Elves should do anything about it. And the decision was no, it's not your problem. It's humanity's. And I don't know if that was before or after events in Sabriel's life. We'd have to line the timeline. But you know of it. You know more about the basically mass death of Lichvale than the White Forest. But you know it's a location now. If for some reason you needed to do war in that side of the world, you know it's a noted location. I think it's slightly north of Lichvale, which still exists. It has a very small population.
Sabriel thinks about it for a moment. I know some things about the area and the city and curse there. I can do some thinking and see if there's something we can do, but it won't be today.
We can always take her to a healing chamber and perhaps investigate.
And at some point I'll be likely rejoining the traveling group, but not anytime soon, so maybe perhaps if it's not dealt with by then, I can do some in-depth research.
I'm gonna be doing some research too, man. Like we talked about it, and I'm really trying to help them out too.
If anything, all I wish to do is remove the more gruesome side effects of this affliction.
Fire.
It has granted me abilities that I had not expected.
Sabriel's very suspicious now. He's like, are you possessed? Like, is this some sort of a demonic abilities? Like, the math lady meme is going on with his face.
Before I contracted this disease, I had no magical ability whatsoever, and now I'm well limited in how much I can use. What I can do is rather potent, if a little single-minded in its effectiveness. A lot of rot, disease, etc., etc.
Caravale touches. It's of note, especially now that you've not, he's not been in a party for a while. Caravale and Sabriel are basically always touching. They're like that couple. But he does kind of squeeze Sabriel's shoulder and say, in probably Elvish, there's levels of secrecy. It's celestial, pure secrecy, Elvish, middling, common, who cares? And it is this could indeed be the same affliction that caused Grimwald. You don't speak Elvish, Jensa.
Yeah, I
Fuck
don't.
off.
I don't. No, that's why I'm as a player. I'm like
Sabriel maintains.
I have zero idea.
Sabriel maintains the consistent thinking face he's had, not really giving away that new information was imparted on him right now. Then we have more work to do.
Why don't I take them with Balor down to see Tanuma, and you can spend some time, Sabriel, to decompress somewhat.
From that. I suppose. Let's go for a walk. Elena, you need some air. You need some air, not me.
The rest of you can start heading down into the rock this island is made out of. Because while I say it's like an island, and you can imagine like a Sonic the Hedgehog 3 like flying island, the parts of Cathedral are built onto the side and almost underneath, and this is the underside where the forges are. Soon enough, you will enter the forging space. Again, the funny thing about this being in High Thundral, there's actually not many doors. It's mostly open archways. You kind of just walk in, but you are being guided by Ballord and Calorvale, who Calorvale choosing to have no chill, is basically staring at Jensa the entire time.
Do I notice him staring at me?
It's not subtle.
After a bit, as we're walking, like once we're sort of like in and going around, and I sort of look again, and he's still staring. I'll like, is he like at the back, or like I'm assuming he's behind me, or like sort of nearish, like to be staring at me.
Yeah, he would have to be.
I'll like slightly split off from the group and sort of get a little closer, not like next to him, but thinking like, is there a problem?
That remains to be seen. I am sure I have many questions working through my mind that you have had as well. If you are a researcher of such things, I am as well, to a degree. I am a master healer around these parts.
If you're worried about me spreading this around, I've already taken as many precautions as I can.
Our species are more resistant to mortal disease.
And that's the thing, I'm not sure this is any mortal disease.
Neither am I. He will, like,
I
duck through the archway. You can still keep talking, but you'll be in, the forge area.
I'll let the dramatic split happen.
Yeah! Gotta have dramatic splits as you're going and walking around. The blacksmith... This isn't actually the forge where they make the armor. I was slightly incorrect in calling it that, because that's a different area that you guys have been to. This is Tanuma's kind of workshop, but it's the same kind of like layer. Same kind of like area of High Thundral. It's a completely enclosed space. There's very few windows. If they are strangely enough curtained. It's actually the kind of thing where you are essentially traveling by the glow that's radiating off Ballord and Calorvale. Because it's still visible to see. You then enter an area, a wide space that has some kind of different elevations to it, with side corridors where the light goes from kind of the orangey golds of High Thundral to a slight bluish tone. There are these almost balloons of pure light magic, and they're blue. And they are hanging from the ceiling in what look like silk nets, giving a very light, diffuse light to the area. But despite that, the materials around here, it's still Sun Elven. It still carries light. It still reflects light a lot, so you can see quite well. This is the workshop and living space of Tanuma and Hope and Grimwald. Ballord and Calorvale will go looking for people and soon enough bring Tanuma over to Snow and Adelard to talk about plans. Tanuma is the one dark elf in High Thundral, a usurper elf to be precise. The species of elves who live in the Underrealm. She is a usurper of the usurpers to a degree to be here, and looks out of place, is out of place, clearly a tinkerer, usually wearing darker in tone dresses and such, and usually with goggles or equipment and things as well. And there's that one large tattoo of the Elvish number 2 on her cheek. And she will start, she will start asking the questions of, tell me, the tower, the integration with the artificial being, it's all worked, yes? It's all functioned perfectly. You've been able to fly the tower wherever you wish without using the Sun Elven magic.
Yeah. I guess Snow would answer. No.
It's Snow and Adelhard she's talking to, basically. Good.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I'm glad. That's one good step. While the Sun Elves can fly their towers, I don't think they'll allow us to take many more. But it's still a big step.
We actually came here because we might need your help with some renovations on it.
I have had plans for such things. Of course, you are flying
Battering
only
ram?
No battering ram.
Okay. So it's like, okay. No battery ram.
a battering ram. She rings back up.
So it's like, have you considered it?
I have not. I've been working. I am not here to reinvent the Sun Elven wheel. There are reasons these chambers were shaped the way they were thousands of years ago. It's all core to the Sun Elven magic, and the materials are as well. Certain things are immutable when it comes to the Sun Elven design. But with resources, it could be possible to construct more to your tower. Entire sections of this city can leave, and according to the records, when traveling to war, often, essentially, everything in the city needed for that war would travel. They would take their stables along with them. They would take their gardens if they would need healing supplies. That's what I've been working on. Your tower need not be just a tower. It could be a small village, I suppose.
Oh, then Leaf could grow anything he needs.
A garden is always the first step on any upgrade to someone's home, especially if you have a alchemist with you. I am familiar with the scent of one.
He's got more than just alchemy.
I'm
That's
walking
good
out,
enough.
walking in, eating a sandwich, just like lumbering.
Cinder's like, what about, can you do something about the shininess of it? Like,
Yeah,
the beacons have been litness of it.
that's what we actually came for. All those other upgrades sound great, but for right now, we kind of are dealing with a situation where we might need a little more subtlety, which I know is
Like-
not really how the Sun Elves work normally.
You
Vanta
have the
black
exact
paint
thought.
on the outside.
You can apply any substance to the surface, and the light will shine through. She will actually take from basically her own satchel of holding a ingot of Arcor, the Sun Elven gold, and it is glowing. Not brightly, but it's got that same subtle light that's within Cal and Sabriel and Valord. Ballard, who's currently asking Leaf if he has another sandwich. She will run her delicate usurper elf fingers over this ingot. The material is unchangeable. It gives the tower its power, it gives it its flight, it gives it protection. The construction is all part of the magic. You can cover
So
it.
no stealth mode.
If you cover it in paint, the light will shine through and the paint will likely fade very quickly. If you wanted to bring the tower into stealth, you would need a powerful source of illusion that traveled with it. You could hide it in a moving cloud. That's just slightly more stealthy than the tower. But Sun Elves, you are correct, Snow. According to the histories, the landing of a Sun Elven city was a declaration of war. The Moon Elves, who are my ancestors, were more willing to utilize stealth. Their towers are more delicate, but their city has been lost. They do not have a high Thunderal. They used to.
Question.
she like kind of like looks at both of it. It's like a teacher being asked two questions at once. He goes, which of you is least inebriated? All right, the drunk one. Question.
I'm not drunk, dude, but all right. A question. That fancy piece of what did you call the gold in your hand?
It's called Arcor. Each of the celestial elves has, with their ancient knowledge, a alloy that has some of their magic within it.
Two questions, actually. Does it hold like an electrical charge, dude? And also, can it contain magical properties? Since it's magic in nature?
It is more able to hold enchantment than other materials. To inlay enchantment, it often involves imbuing gold. This is gold. So it is easier to enchant if you go about it the right way. Divine magic is easier to apply, but the reason why your tower flies is my application of the arcane to it, to link your Goldie to it. The fact that his chassis is golden assists. Arcane magic flows freer through gold.
Would you mind if I take that little chunk and try a few things with it?
Be my guest.
I'm gonna try to take it and jury rig a electrical charge apparatus around it that will like essentially shock and hopefully bestow an invisibility spell upon it, and turn the rock invisible.
Oh my god, he's gonna break the tower.
I will allow you an extremely Hail Mary check now. It will be your spellcasting ability with disadvantage. But really, this is going to be something you have to work on. But I'm going to allow you to try and do it now. Because this is the kind of stuff that Leaf could do and
Hail
just,
Mary.
like, fix it now and solve the problem.
Double nat 20s.
Differently.
Double nat 20s.
Oh, look.
Is it intelligent? You said it's an intelligence based? It's based
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Your spellcasting would be.
I have to do this separately, unfortunately.
Yeah. Plus 11.
Holy shit.
I get expertise with tools and things.
Yeah.
And casting spells too.
You can. So, of course, we're in a crazy magical world. Electricity, maybe not necessarily. I don't want to even think about the question. It's Arcor conductive. But you can, the concept, essentially using it as a, you understand that when you cast invisibility on something, you use, application of stuff to do it, it makes whatever you're holding invisible as well. It makes, all of you invisible, the way you do it. So you're essentially you can sort out a system where you can essentially almost leave the invisibility on it, self-sustaining, basically making it like a closed system for this magic. By jury rigging it, and you do it very quickly, like make it invisible, and not you, which is the tricky part about that, right? Yeah, you can do it. The hard thing is the tower is very orders of magnitude bigger than just one ingot, but
Right.
Magical theory. It can hold magic. The material can hold magic very well.
So I'm not real sure how long I can hold it, but it's possible with enough time and resources, I could maybe get it to self-sustain invisibility for a little bit.
Well, can't you just connect it to Goldie, and then Goldie can be the self-sustaining battery for it? I mean, he's already powering the tower, right?
Goldie is not powering the tower. If anything, the power is towering Goldie. Goldie... The smallest
But
amount of
they're
magic was
connected.
used in Goldie to kickstart them. They weren't like a construct from my home city. That Goldie is almost entirely operated using cogs and gears and little parts. They're not magical. The intelligence is something else. The connection is turning the way Goldie thinks into datum that the tower can use, much like Ballard's. This is very complicated to explain to people like you. Needless to say, yes, machine make tower work, fly good, but we can't just keep pumping magic into the equation without changing things.
Well, there's no other... Two questions to start my question. I know.
Yeah.
I know, but look at me. Do you look at me? It's my job to find things. So that's what I'm doing. So here's a question. So if A, the tower does not have an innate ability to be I lost the word. Stealthy, cloaked, whatever that. And you said it needs to be sourced in some kind of illusion. So if we could, in theory, get some sort of large-scale illusion, I don't know, maybe from the Fae or otherwise, that could cloak it. Or, you know, I mean, my people are good at illusion, like where I live, my court. But I don't know. But or where was the last information on your lost city? Like, was it destroyed or lost, or was it lost, and you just can't find it again because you left and forgot where to go?
One. To answer question 2. I am not a moon elf. Luckily, I am of a disposition unlike many of my sisters, and I am not greatly offended by that comment.
I'm not trying to be.
Snow's over here like, ooh. Like, ooh.
Cinder's like, listen, I'm not from this world. I don't know what's going on.
Wait, okay, wait, hold on. Out of character real quick. The moon elves are like the queen in Valheim, right?
So, out of character logic that I think some of you have kind of picked up, but also just, you know, this is a lot of stuff that's been spread between a lot of seasons. You are hanging out with the Sun Elves. According to their history, the Sun Elves and the Moon Elves were made at the same time. And this is stuff that, like, Ballard and Sabriel explained to you, but fuck it if you guys actually learnt this in character. But basically, according to the legends, the elven god gave the sun and moon the power to make elves, and so the celestial elves and the moon, the celestial elves are the moon elves and the sun elves. The sun elves are the offense, the moon elves are the defense. And in the Age of Giants, they freed elvenkind from the giants and defeated the giants. Hence all the statues and stuff. In the interim time, actually, it was during the Age of Giants, there was a civil war within the moon elves.
Okay.
That's where
the betrayer elves come from.
And that's where the usurper elves come from.
Usurper elves.
The usurper elves were forced underground, following the person who started the civil war, Ivrith, who is who the usurper elves now worship. The usurper queen.
But that's so the moon.
The moon elves still exist
Okay.
as moon elves, much like the sun elves are not high elves, but the high elves exist because of the sun elves.
But
right?
the moon queen is the one who tried to steal the tower, right?
The moon elves
Okay.
still exist, but they're flying. And what she's saying is that their flying city, their High Thundral, in the Age of Giants, they must have had the same thing. They don't anymore. It's not like Valheim is the parked thing. You've been in the Moon Palace. The Moon Palace probably is part of it, right? You can kind of assume it's part of it. They've lost the rest of the city. How? Why? She does like. person you're talking to doesn't know, you aren't talking to moon elves. The moon elves and the sun elves don't work together all the time. They work together enough that Sabriel sassed out the Moon Queen last time you were talking to him. But they don't actually work together all the time. There's no moon elven statues here, really. They stand in their own way. And just so you know, the moon elves, so both the sun elves and the moon elves were fading. Fading is when elves no longer have purpose and they basically start to die. And in a sort of a civilization, the entire civilization dies. That's why there's been no child born in 105 years in the sun elves. That happened to the moon elves long ago. There is only 16 of them alive.
Okay.
The Moon Queen is running Valheim with the other moon elves, but the Moon Queen only got elected like 7 years ago.
Okay. Basically, I'm asking because I was thinking like when Tanuma gets like kind of a little offended, then Snow's gonna try to rein it in. He's gonna be like, "Oh, I like you better than the moon elves, anyways. They tried to steal the tower."
It is because you gave them the location.
They were no doubt wondered by my ingenuity in making it fly when powered by mortal races.
I'm just saying, we're not trying to compare you to them. We know that you're better than the Moon Queen herself, Tanuma.
Right, I wasn't trying to make comparisons. Shut up. I'm not from here, so I don't know the history. I apologize. But do you know where they lost it?
No. I didn't even know it was lost until I looked in appropriate places in the many archives here. The specifics I know not of. Maybe when you're done chasing whatever tales you're chasing now, you can find the lost city of the Moon Elves, and I have no doubt that will put a blush on the Moon Queen's face. Worth remembering.
I don't care about that.
And what if we just keep it? If we find it, can we just hook it up to a Goldie?
Certainly has his thoughts to that, but he's not voicing anything.
My second point is sources of magic operate differently. Everything in this city is divine. Arcane magic that I have implemented is more able to interact with other magic sources if the correct knowledge is applied, especially divine magic. Prayers are incantations, after all. I merely had to decode the runic incantations on every single element of this flying city to put it into the tower. A Fey illusion may not integrate neatly, which means there might be interference, but it could be possible.
What if it was some sort of like... She turns to Ballard because she doesn't know how to word this question. She's like,
"Do I have crumbs in my beard?" And Kalmar's like, "You don't have a beard. You're incapable of growing a beard."
Like, we call them flavor savers, dude.
But no, anyway, Uncle Ballard do you know if the boss's magic is divine magic or is it Fey magic?
Cinder, my dear, and he'll kneel in front of Cinder.
Oh my god, she's all of 4'5".
Yeah, exactly. Until I met your boss, I didn't know anything about the Fae.
Mm-hmm. And you seem to be very knowledgeable about it now, don't you?
I don't know what you're insinuating.
You
I wouldn't
hang out with the boss a lot. I
don't know anything more. I know more about the Fae because I've been learning, because I like to learn things, because it's a good thing to do. It's a good thing to apply knowledge. But divine magic comes from belief. But our magic, Sun Elven magic, Here's a good example, and he is like that loud in front of Cinder. Cinder probably doesn't give a shit, but like everyone else is
she's
probably
just
like,
standing
"Whoa,
there
what
like-
the fuck?" Here's the example: Vincent at Vincent. His magic came from his faith in his Lord, his God. He was a human. Humans have no more magic in them than a potato.
No, they really are just potatoes. It's
And his belief and power created feats of magic that could have rivaled mine. Maybe.
Okay, and she holds up the amulet, but does this have divine magic?
No, that's Fae. But our magic, Sun Elven magic, is so divine because we have divine cores. And what Tanuma is saying is that while I have a divine core, so does the tower. And that magic, the power of the sun, it doesn't always like playing along. You remember when you first tried to teleport into these sanctums?
Oh yeah, it burned. I got sunburns for like a week.
It is said by some that the sun can be jealous. Magic doesn't always play along so neatly. It can, but not always. If a Vandor deems whatever spell you attempt to cast on the tower to be an affront to the laws of Celestia, then yes, I imagine the tower will disintegrate with all of you in it, and if you're flying, you'd probably fall quite a way with no Pegasi to catch you.
So Amarhald has listened and is like, so what you're saying is ask your god if it is okay first.
Well, yes, that's what a lot of rituals are, really. Caravale just kind of silently nods.
The cow's thinking about what Saprael brought up to him before, too.
So a divine ritual, then, rather than casting of a
Combination.
No. You would not be able to. You would not be able to elicit the divine magic of a Vandor, or Valenche would deny your attempts to sneakily stealth into an encounter. No, as Sun Elf, when you fly in that tower, you are surrogate Sun Elves, and that means when you go to war, you go proud, and ideally not wearing armor. And you'll go out broad chest and you'll fight your enemy and you let them know.
Yeah!
Right.
Exactly.
I had an idea while all this discussion was going on a potential secondary option if the whole hiding the tower didn't work out.
Calavale will just like raise her hands like, theoretically possible, difficult. That's the crux of it.
Yes. However, what if we were to, as Balor is suggesting, I guess, forgo stealth, arrive in the tower, but we do have a slight lie about why we're there. We have Wyrex's tome. I've already very openly spoken about my wish to maintain the advantages this affliction has granted me. What's to say we
do
arrive?
know Wyrex has done unsavory things.
I come along. I've heard stories of a powerful pyromancer, someone with no quandaries about experimenting. And we bring along an ancient enemy as prisoner. I point a hand towards Snow. Of course.
Tanuma raises her like. Tanuma is just like. There is like a sly usurper elven smile. This is a very good plan to her.
And of course, before anything actually were to happen to our wonderful prisoner, we'll be in the prime position to spring the trap, as it were.
If all goes according to plan.
If all goes according to plan. If it doesn't, then I guess Ballard already has our plan B.
I don't think Uncle Ballard's going with us, though. I think
Oh.
it's just us.
Still, I've seen what you
well-
people can do.
Unless you want Sabriel to go, I don't mind playing 2 characters, but that's up to y'all.
No, Sabra, like
mean-
Alina is in the realm of pregnant, where it's like, yeah, it's probably going to be next year, but who knows? And I think all 3 of them are like, baby alert, baby is in Amber Alert. It could be now, or it could be like 6 months.
Alina burps, and then the house is on lockdown.
Sabriel's
Considering-
running down the stairs.
Colorvale is literally a midwife, like that's his specialty as well. It's like,
Yeah.
it's like especially panic.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, Snow would like look a little uncomfortable with the idea of being a fake prisoner, but he doesn't say
Wait.
anything.
Snow. So what if you're the prisoner, but you're not actually the prisoner? Like, what if, like, I don't know, I'm the prisoner because I can get out.
But as
I can
Jensa
leave.
said, our people have a history of fighting with
I know. I can
goblins
fight.
and
You've seen me fight.
hobgoblins.
I'm not no push around little bunny rabbit. I have teeth.
But the point would be that I would be a more enticing offer to them.
No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying if I have an illusion on me or some sort of shape-shifting spell, we can go home and get go to my home and get some sort of shape-shifting spell or magic, or someone turns me into a goat or something to where I look like you. And I'm the
Oh.
prisoner because then I can get out. I can teleport. I may not go where I need to go, but I can get out.
Aside from
And
the
we would not have to
size,
reveal the entire bounty.
aside from your size with the horns, honestly, if you just put some makeup on, I'm sure you could look like a young one of whatever.
Yeah,
he
these are
is.
a bit light emitting, and she points to the pink.
Well,
And
bear
for
in
the
mind,
sun-
Snow's antlers
You could
are
shave
pale
that.
blue as well.
Yeah.
No!
Leaf goes to work filling up a globule with different ingredients and shaking it around, stirring it, and after a couple of seconds, he hands it over to Cinder. Try this!
I don't know that I want to.
Just trust me. Nothing's bad's gonna happen. Although, you should probably really keep in mind what you want to look like and what you want to be like when you drink it.
I mean, the other option is we shave you.
I tried that
I can change my
once.
legs. I can change my legs to people legs if I want to, but walking is hard. No. So she's like, she takes the jar, and she's like, dude, what is it? What's in it?
For science.
Just,
Son.
I'm a magical being. I don't do science. I'm not a flesh creature like you
Oh,
people.
for magic science, just drink it.
different herbs and a few flavor enhancers so that it doesn't taste like butt.
If I die, I'm going to haunt you. I don't think I could turn into a ghost, but I'll try. She drinks.
It is a potion of alter self. So it actually will transform you into a different form. And it lasts for an
I
hour.
can't be a different size though, so she's picturing Snow, but Snow's
But you
like-
are not
It's like
a
a
small.
mini
But you
Snow.
are not a small-sized creature. You are a
But he's large
medium-sized
size,
creature.
isn't he?
Yeah, but you can become as big as Leaf if you want.
Okay,
Yeah,
yeah, she'll
you can be a-
try to be a Snow of that size.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah,
You
so
can
you're like
get
a
close.
6 foot tall or something,
Well, it would also make it appear like you're a slightly emaciated, slightly not well kept prisoner.
Right.
Yeah.
You can work on it.
Plus, could we get a potion of growth? Feed Cinder a potion of growth, then do alter self. Oh, that would be so.
Actually, yes.
Enlarge reduce.
They are
Oh
both
my God.
concentration.
So,
And that
yeah,
the
we would-
enlarged reduce only lasts for a minute.
So we'd probably need. Oh, it is late. Well, but the potion version is an hour, I'm pretty sure, or multiple.
It was
hours.
a long time. Yeah, it was longer.
Yeah, so that might be expensive, but we could. The potion would then, because then the potion is like it doesn't have concentration. I'm pretty sure it's just. Yeah, so you can take the potion, then alter self, and look like a full size snow. It actually could
And then
work.
wait, and then when the illusion drops, you
It's-
are just a large.
It's a
cinder.
large cinder. It'd be like an 8-foot tall cinder. It sounds so
Imagine
great.
the rabbit kicks on that.
Yeah.
So alter self is actually transmutation. It's not an illusion, so it,
Yeah, yeah.
it might actually bypass even some illusion
You-
detection
Exactly.
because it actually changes you.
You
Yeah,
are
it's like
physically
form.
changing
See?
temporarily.
Cinder
That-
has smart ideas sometimes, okay?
it actually could be a good idea to do growth potion plus alter self if we really want to make it look like.
Okay, I think we can do this, but the other thing is, will it change my voice? Because if I sound
Yes.
like
It decide what you look like, including your height, weight, facial features, sound of your voice, hair length,
Sound of your
coloration, distinct secrets.
voice.
Dude,
does
if we
she
do
sound
this,
like Snow right now? She's talking.
Well, the thing is, you can't. You're like with this base spell, unless you do some more finagling. You aren't an exact Snow. You
Yeah.
are like
It's
a
like a higher
cinder.
pitch.
You are like
An emaciated snow.
Snow-ish, but there's still probably some cinder features, but not enough to give it
That's the
away
thing.
as you. It's like
That's
when you
You're
charge-
Snow Light.
You are Snow Light,
So look,
but you would
don't need to
sound
be Snow
close. You
because-
wouldn't have the accent. But you'd
Snow
have
with
the-
0 sugar.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Snow,
cats and
when
fire
Snow
rats.
looks at this, Snow is like freaked out right now. By the way, he's like, what?
When
is
you
this?
go to take a step back, Snow, you bump into Grimwald.
oh,
Who is
Grim.
Grimwald, who is a skeleton. A talking, walking skeleton wearing a cloak. And like you bump into him and the jaw just goes open.
Skeleton! And I bolt.
Whoa!
Skelly Man!
What? People keep thinking there's undead around here, and I find the idea ridiculous. As Calravel has been explaining to me many times, it's almost impossible for undead to take root in this city. It's got divine light within
slowly
it.
look at Calravel.
He is cursed in many ways. My husband brought him home one day. We've been trying to work
Sabriel's
out.
pet
I
skeleton.
cross
What
my
makes him
arms
tick?
and slightly tilt my head.
Sabriel's pet skeleton.
No, what I am is a Grimwald, a magician at your service. I was a servant to a great wizard in Slate Cove, but that town is now underground, so I'm up here in the sky. It's like a rattling of bones, like as he laughs. Xylophone noises.
I offer my hand to shake.
He's. You tried to make Grimwald stealth. Doesn't work. He's just got bone hand. And he does shake.
Pleasure to meet you.
There's like a in Elvish, Calvar will probably say to Tanuma, like, she touched him without much hesitation. That's not the usual response.
I'm wearing gloves.
I know.
It's still just like a undead. Strange. Okay.
Hand
but
pulls
then
back
I'm
with a
putting- I'm
bony
sli-
noise.
Slightly putting two and two together from what Kyle's mentioned before
Yeah.
in passing.
But you don't need to worry about skeletons or zombies here. The only spirits here are the ones they enjoy during fine celebrations, which come around a lot more often than I think most of you would expect.
Well, that sounds like a much more wonderful time than we've been having lately.
He kind of nods and, steps back with the spell book and... I mean, he looks like a party skeleton because he wields a chalice. This is like weapon.
He's like the fucking Darkest Dungeon dude, but without the hat.
Yeah. You'd give him a hat, he'd lose it. Try and give this guy clothes.
Sabriel's
He's like
giving
Ballard.
him clothes.
Yeah, and he's wearing like robes.
He's a man of simple taste.
Yeah. No, without meat, clothes wear down a lot faster on something. So you give him something like gloves, they just rip.
Bones are sharp.
Yeah.
They're pointy.
Yeah. Anyway, with you guys formulating a plan, the plan being screw stealth, you're gonna do one of the classic D&D plans. Fake prisoner.
Yep.
It's a
We've done it
classic.
before.
It's
It
a
didn't
classic.
work, but we've done it before.
Wait, this one is a fake prisoner.
It's a fake prisoner.
Yeah.
If we do it
Yeah,
with
it's a
Cinder.
double.
Yeah.
It's a double fake.
It's a double.
Yeah.
It's a double cross.
So like,
I just like this. The trust is being put into Cinder to act as Snow
This is-
appropriately.
I'm so excited out of character to just see what Cinder does.
You're gonna
act
need to
Snow.
prepare to play Cinder playing Snow.
We're gonna need snow lessons on the way over.
Hey,
Yeah. Yeah.
poetry. We're gonna need to do some DMing so that Cinder can figure this out.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
the flight
I mean, to be
back
fair,
to
though-
the Hagtooth Island is gonna be these two
It's-
like doing workshops.
To be fair, it's not like these guys personally know Snow, but I guess they might know what the Plavar and other adjacent giants are like, though. So I don't know.
Oh, Cinder's gonna have to know some giant too, just enough to get by.
We'll burn
Yeah.
that bridge when we get there.
Oh god, yeah. But I guess that's the thing, though. But before we leave, would we be able
Also
to
good
find?
teacher, he can
You're
teach
not
us.
leaving now. We're leaving the
Yeah.
session.
The
You
Okay.
can
second-
leave
yeah,
your
so we'll
questions
focus-
in your notes.
Yeah.
Cinder's got some stuff she wants to do before we leave.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. This is only going to keep going as long as we need it to, but it is.
First of all, you got to go find Leaf because he is gone.
Well,
He's
Cinder
nowhere
needs
in
to
the
go find
vicinity.
the
He
blacksmith.
saw the skeleton run off. Jensa was like, "Oh, okay, I understand what's happening." Leaf has gone off into some tunnel, which running around in Tanuma's home probably not a good idea. In fact, Leaf almost certainly bumped into the little sister, which is going to be a whole thing. So we'll have to remember that for next time. But
Yeah, Cinder wants to find a blacksmith.
we're gonna
Scooby-Doo
call
chase
it here,
sequence.
and we'll be back next week. Before we go, you guys talk a little bit about what you are. Starting with Zach.
So I am getting ready to portray the mayor of Whoville and How the Grinch Stole Christmas. I have that show next weekend, and I have just set my first video up on YouTube at our Next Level TTRPG channel. I'll put the link in the chat there. It's really cool. It's an actual play of a Pathfinder 2 one-shot where it takes place with 5 wonderful, talented ladies from Twitter, and they are all part of a bridal party that is coming for a bachelorette party. So I'm very excited for you guys to see it. It was very fun. They were very talented, very energetic, very into it, and we had all the generic bachelorette party shenanigans, and it was wonderful. So go check that out. Like I said, I'll put the link in the chat. Thank you guys.
That's a really good one-shot
Nightbot.
plan. Ah, ban.
Oh, I got stopped.
I'll get it.
It'll be a link
That's
on
fine.
your Twitter as well if someone's
There we
watching
go.
it. It'll be findable.
Thank
I'm
you.
Sure.
I got it.
Next is poetry.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have a ton going on that's special right now. I actually am doing my Sunday game again. It was on kind of a little hiatus, but the Sunday game that I stream on my Twitch channel is going with we've kind of had a weird like Ship of Theseus thing where it was like we started with one cast and then like half that cast had to leave, and then we had a new cast for a new season, like half new cast for a new season. Then now all of the old cast is gone, and we're going to a new season with completely new cast, completely different campaign, but still like collected. It's kind of weird, but
That's almost the
Yeah.
vibe we have with the Wednesday game, which is in mega hiatus, because
Yeah.
that was one where we kept having like parties, and the only survivors were Ian and Zoe every time. But then it ended up being a thing where every chapter they basically had a guest star or two, which actually worked out
Yeah.
pretty well. So
Hey, I
Yeah.
survived.
yeah,
it's
your
it's like
character
JoJo's
lived.
Bizarre Adventure or something, you know?
It works
I turned
out
it
pretty
around-
well.
I turned their luck around.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they did have some bad luck.
So yeah, so that's it for me. Pagel is the only other thing I really do, but Oh, and Dwarf Fortress, which I know Ollie's been playing too.
I have. I've done and might do more chill streams of Dwarf Fortress literally because it was approaching stream time and I was still playing it and I was like, I'm just gonna turn the camera on.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, it is exciting to have a Dwarf Fortress release on Steam. It's not perfect, but it's pretty damn close.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's pretty great.
It's earned like $5 million already.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Well, the thing is, people have been waiting to buy it properly, and you know what's exciting? I don't have anywhere to go, but Dwarf Fortress on a Steam Deck.
Oh yeah.
You know, you can go anywhere. You can go to a deserted island and live forever. I don't think that's how that works, but you know, Dwarf Fortress is very good. So I guess watch our streams and get a feel for it. It's great. And if you are like, oh, maybe I like Rimworld, maybe I should get Dwarf Fortress, get it. This one's really easy to play. All the like talk of Dwarf Fortress being complicated, it's
not as bad.
Now,
I think they've streamlined
with the Steam release.
Yeah. It's much more intuitive.
It's a lot easier to play.
You can use your mouse now.
Yeah, I said this. There's been a mouse mod for original Dwarf Fortress for a long time. It's just the game wasn't made for it.
It's a mod, though.
The game wasn't made for it. The thing is about Dwarf Fortress is once you actually learnt the hotkeys in the original one, it wasn't that hard. Dwarf Fortress isn't a hard game to play. You just need to play it and enjoy it. Yeah. So if you're curious about it, just get it.
Sorry to derail the.
No, I'm glad for a Dwarf Fortress derailment.
Yeah.
Next is AJ.
Sorry, I won't touch your head.
I have been quite busy. I have a real job now.
Nice.
Other than that, I have been playing Destiny and been drawing a bit, though art will likely slow down now. But yeah, still continuing.
Good stuff.
Check out, I'm doing cool stuff on Twitter.
I get a lot of whips from AJ, and it really good.
Yeah.
Real good, simple as, you know.
Like the thingy, the Osiris fan art that you did was really good.
I did too, actually. Did another one.
I was gonna say, I expect we're gonna get a lot of Destiny fan art coming around.
Oh yeah. There's plans. Saint 14 is next.
Hey.
Next is Quills.
Hey, so yeah, I'm still doing my usual and making / ruining people's days on Twitter just by shit posting. I've steadily been getting back into making videos again. I put out a fan trailer for the latest Warframe, Varuna, who is Werewolf Mommy. And no, for real.
The trailer's pretty
I
cool.
believe you. I'm just judging. Okay.
Look, have you seen her? Have you seen what she looks
I
like?
don't need to see her. I can imagine a werewolf Warframe. Okay.
She literally has wolves on her hips and her shoulders.
Oh, so it's like the Warhammer logic for werewolves. The more wolf, the better.
Like, yeah, like she literally has 4 wolves on her, and they were her like in her lore. She literally had 4 wolves with her at all times, and then they got killed during like a big fight with void monsters on a hunt. And she, when they all died, she was the only one left. She took her axe, cut all their heads off, and basically soaked herself and the heads in life juice, Kuva. And like they fused to her Warframe and thingy became like part of her. So yeah, I did a fan trailer in the thing of the Prime trailers they do with Ballast narrating, and I did my best Ballast impression, but I was sick, so it wasn't that great. But I'm also bringing out a Fem Aatrox from League of Legends video, hopefully in the next like 2 weeks or so. Art is nearly done for that. Then I've also got an Elden Ring meme comic coming out soon. The art's nearly done for that with some of my friend, because me and my friend did simultaneous runs. I went for the Flame Frenzy ending with dual Great Spears.
Oh no.
It was hilarious. Melania was so hard, but I eventually got it. My friend then went for another, it's like her 3rd time doing it, Rani ending with just magical swords. So no like actual swords, just the sword spells. So we're doing a comic where she's doing the thing like, Rani is a queen, and I'm like, if she breathes, she's a duck, and thingy. There's full art for it. It's gonna be great.
Moon Mommy.
Moon Mommy. And tomorrow, I'm gonna at 7 p.m. GMT, so an hour before the stream starts, like time-wise. I'm gonna be on my friend Jamie voiceover stream, where me and them are going to be voicing the Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links game campaign. So we're gonna be doing like a voice dub of that, which the 2 characters I currently have, I'm down to voice, but it's probably gonna change as we go through it. Are Mai and Pegasus, but it's probably gonna be some more in between as we go through. So yeah.
Mini tangent. You know, a lot of older card games, they're still going. You know, you got the Magic, you got Pokemon. Pokemon's still good. Yu-Gi-Oh! Has the weirdest feature bloat.
Yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Used to be, like, simple, and now it's really, really, really complicated. Too much so that it's like, I don't even want to touch it.
For trying, like, the free web, like, dual one with, like, a couple friends at some point, and I was like, oh, like, this deck looks thematically really cool. Instead of it's like, yes, so you need this, like, 60-card setup with all of these, and you also need a 35-card side deck. And it's like, what the fuck's a side deck? How do I use a side deck? And it's just like, use a side deck. It just doesn't explain at all what it is. It's just like, yeah, you just use it. It's like,
to be fair, it can't be as bad as the Pokemon card games app, which looks like it was made in 2000 and doesn't have the Pokemon. It doesn't have. It doesn't have the Pokemon art style. It's really weird.
Oh.
You make like an avatar, and it looks like an avatar you would have made on like a school homework app. It's not.
Wow.
It's like, how hard would it be to be a Pokemon trainer? No. You don't make a Pokemon trainer. You have like a kid.
I remember
like,
this rant because you went off on this in our DMs with pictures.
I did. It's weird.
The
I Pokemon card game
looking.
app is updated and has everything. It's updated and it works and it's clean and it's actually got like good integration and it's fun to play and it's got like a single player campaign, but it's somehow not Pokemon. It's so anyway.
If the side side deck, if it's anything like the sideboard in Magic, it's just an extra set of cards that you can pull in a tournament and replace in your deck throughout the tournament.
I think
So,
Yu-Gi-Oh!
like,
Is always always tournament rules, basically. That's one of its things, isn't it? Anyway. And then Ori, last person.
I do art full-time as my job. I have 1.5 commissions right now that I need to finish. So if you need any art done, please hit me up. I will take it. I can't guarantee it'll be done by Christmas right now because one of the ones I have to do is a rather large one. But yeah, I do art full-time. Hit up my Twitter. It has all of my shit. If not, go to my Tumblr, which is the same name, but the dashes are higher up instead of on the bottom. Also, say hi to Bo. He wanted to come out today. Little lizard buddy.
Lizard.
He's angry right now. But yeah, I do art. Occasionally I stream, sometimes when the anxiety lets me. But yeah, I've been playing Pokemans with myself. And then I was gonna say with Ollie, I'm like, we haven't started that
We
yet.
have been telecommunicating. We're playing Pokemon by posts.
Yeah. And
If
I
we're
help Ollie
ever
with
awake
some
at
of
the same
lore
time
stuff.
outside of D&D,
Yeah.
we'll play Pokemon together.
But yeah, I help Ollie with some of the lore stuff, like the Fae and mildly the Sun Elves. Mildly, whenever it was regards to Sabriel, anyway.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's it. I'm done. I draw hot men and ladies. I draw hot people.
I also draw hot people. If you want to know more about some of that background stuff, most of that's on Patreon. Because this show is supported by Patreon, it helps me keep things going and afford upgrades and such. For $5 or more, you get access to an extra show that is, I've been in and out of hiatus lately because of chronic illness and things like that. But there is another show. There's also a massive backlog. So, there's all that. Which is great as well. If you like the storytelling, there are like 3 or 4 fully complete independent series audio-only podcasts on Patreon. So that's great. You also get access to extra art. I've been doing a lot of like OC art right now that's not connected to Jarviskjir and a few other projects. I'm basically just bumping myself around, wandering the creative void and going, that looks like entertainment for like a day. And that's kind of what we do now. Streaming Pokemon and Dwarf Fortress. We're not doing D&D. And follow on Discord and Twitter for more information. This is where we're going to say goodbye, and thank you for the Patreon supporters, and we should see you next week. Bye-bye.